Thank you for joining the Cloud Ninja podcast. It's your boy Free Game, joined by Bara B and Black Uchia. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Hit that like button. And hey, let's get into it. We're going to be discussing the one. Did we get only one chat? Only one panel for this spoiler? That's I don't even want to watch it, so I'm glad that I don't even want to see it, so I'm glad we're doing spoilers today. But that one panel is pretty interesting though. So we can start off on that, or if you guys have any other topics you wanted to discuss before then, any news, anything you guys been seeing in the Boruto fandom or anything like that, going through Twitter. What was it? Well, man. Mm-hmm. What? Throw it up so we can put it up. You said niggas do not like to tweet. How while he's looking that up though, like how do you feel about that though? Like do you guys think that we need like some anime only for Two Blue Vortex or like I mean it is, but no, I agree. Mm-hmm. Mm. All right, so I got to put up on the page if you want to give some context to this. Mm.
They can extend fights like Sasuke versus Code. They can give us scenes with Sarada in the village during the time skip and Sumire.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I messed up. I didn't unmute you guys, so they could not hear you. So I do apologize for that. But
Oh shit!
yeah, basically, I asked Black to just give some context on what's going on right here, and Bar he was explaining why we should have some anime only content. If you want to like reiterate real quick, Bar, so they can hear what you said, because sorry guys, that was definitely my fault.
Oh, what happened? It wasn't playing it?
No, it was
We
just
had an audio?
no. My audio was only playing. You guys' audio wasn't
Oh,
playing.
Oh, okay. From like the whole thing.
Yeah, since we started, I forgot to
Yeah,
hit on mute, bro. I'm so like I gotta get readjusted to Streamlabs. So like you guys gotta we was using a duck for so long that like
Nah, I feel that. I feel
yeah, like the duck is different. Like here's like yeah,
that.
so I don't know, but yeah. So if you can reiterate, Bar, why you feel like they should add some more context to like Two Blue Vortex and not just go manga panel for manga, oh not manga panel for manga panel, but like chapter to chapter.
yeah. One of the biggest spots of manga adaptations to anime, I believe it was like 30 chapters and like 30 episodes. So I'm saying like hypothetically, if we're just saying 23 episodes that means 23 chapters that we have right now. Chapter 23 should be coming out on the 20th. You could pretty much animate that in like 6 months, and I feel like like then
Right.
we'd have to go on like a whole other hiatus, like a few years long hiatus. I feel like it'd just be simple if we just have some well, I wouldn't call it filler, anime canon in there to like expound on some of the big stuff that the anime can't necessarily get to, from like a manga perspective. And to be honest, if we're actually going to go into like what is it called, the seasonal track, and then have like 6 months on season, then 6 months off season, I think that'd be cool as well. But I'd still also be a little bit concerned about how far or how much we could actually animate in those 6 months, and how much manga chapters would actually come out in those 6 months downtime. Like that's the only thing.
Yeah. And then like my thing was too. I always complained about how short the car actuation arc was, because they kind of went manga chapter from chapter with that as well. Like I think they added like slight anime canon episodes to it, but for the most part, it was just we was getting manga chapter after manga chapter, and it wasn't really anything in between it. Any fluff in between it, just to give us more context of what's going on, getting other people's perspective and stuff like that. We just pretty much just got what the manga gave to us. So I mean, I would appreciate some more, because we have a lot of questions that we want answered, and to not give us like any anime, canon that expounds the story further, or plugs in those like little plot holes or whatever. That would be like super appreciated.
Yeah, for a fact. What you were saying, no, Black Witch? Yeah, we kind of cut you off.
Nah, I think. Oh shit! What I was saying. Whoa! Before I get back to the tweet, I agree with you, free game. I think though, arcs like the car actuation arc is some of the better material in the direction they should go towards. Like I feel like dropping anime original content is needed, but not to the extent of like missing out on arcs like the car actuation. Like basically, like that
Mm-hmm.
deeper arc was great.
Yeah.
So by the time they got into the actual manga stuff with Kawaki, yeah, it was back to back with the episodes. But before we got to that, they gave us like a solid 20, 23 episodes where it was Victor and Deepa as the main villains. And I actually rocked with that arc, like as if it was coming straight out of the manga, because it was a lot of information to build on. We saw how Amado was building the airship. We saw how the Kara members operate when they're inside of the hideout. So it was a lot of good things that they added in that arc.
That's true.
So it's
That's true.
yeah. So like, I think that direction is something that they should focus on, right? And then as far as the tweet, it's just that because the animator, he's basically saying like, it's so serious, the content we're getting right now in TBV, there wouldn't be room for anime original content.
Mm.
And I think I don't think we should take it as like absolutely beat for beat. Every episode will be like chapter for chapter. Not to say like there won't be episodes like that, but I think it's like kind of like a given. I can't say for sure because I'm not in the writer's room, but I think it's a given. Certain things will be shown that we haven't seen in the manga, and even for Two Blue Vortex. So I do have high faith that they're gonna completely abandon arcs like, I don't know. I don't even know what to like. Arcs like the Konohamaru arc with Boruto and Konohamaru. They had the whole thing with the, I don't know, the memories and stuff like that. That can go. The Mirai arc can go. Unfortunately, people might not like to hear me say this. The Mitsuki arc that can set up on the 90-yard line and kick your way out of here, that can go too. So a lot of those arcs. I don't know if y'all can hear my niece crying right now. Niece and nephew crying right now.
No.
But But yeah, it's like a lot of those arcs, I ain't gonna say completely useless, but some of these things that they use to build the characters and give them development and personalities within those arcs, just take those elements and add it to the manga material instead of giving us completely separate storylines that have no effect on like the overall theme, or at least is not interesting enough to draw us in. So I think anime original content should stay for the most part if it's gonna mimic the car actuation arc. And hell, I'll even say like the first arc of Boruto, like the Sumire arc. So things like that.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, and to be honest, some of those arcs had absolutely nothing to do with the manga. But like hypothetically, like for I wouldn't mind an arc like, and I know you just brought it as an example for why it's bad, but I think I understand why you probably put it there. The Mitsuki arc, in my personal opinion, had like a decent idea, or it introduced the idea of kata outsiders because the big person or the big scientist behind the whole entire thing was a kata outsider, and we later
Yep.
seen him in the actual kata actuation arc. But hypothetically, if that arc wasn't like 30 episodes long and it was like maybe 5 to 10 episodes
It
long, and
was
then we actually
not
got to
30
see the
minutes. It
climax
was
of
not
Jura.
30
Yeah.
episodes.
I
Stop
agree
it.
with
Bro, I,
Clyde.
I remember it vividly. It was 20 some
It was
episodes.
not that long. Stop
It
it.
They
was
shave off.
absurd.
They shave off a
It
good
was
8
like 10
episodes. Of Mitsuki arc.
episodes.
They
Stop.
could
Stop
not. That's cap,
Bro, I
man.
could go a whole.
Whoa,
Bro,
whoa.
I
Yeah,
Oh,
promise
this
you
shit
it was
was
like
10
20 some
episodes.
episodes.
15 episodes max. It wasn't no 20 episodes, bro.
It was
4,
That
20
was
some
probably the
8,
longest.
episodes,
12,
bro.
I
6.
think it's the
That's a
longest anime only arc.
5 month. That's a 5 month arc.
Yeah,
Yes, bro. We were
yeah.
dragging it throughout that arc because that arc even went
I
into the
can't.
new year. I believe it
I'm
went
not
into
believing it.
2018.
I'm not believing it. I'm about to check this. I'm about to fact check.
I'm
I'm
gonna look
checking
up the
myself as
episode
well.
count.
I'm about to fact check.
Check.
Chat. Let us know. Was that 20 episodes long? I do not remember that. And that was one of my
What?
favorite. That
Pushing
was one of my
30.
favorite arcs. I like that arc.
It was pushing 30, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh, did you look it up?
I'm looking right now. All right, so episode 72 is Mitsuki's will.
22
Let's see
episodes.
this.
Okay. So from 71 to 92. That's how they
God
counted.
damn! No way.
Bro,
I thought it was longer. I'm not gonna lie to
absurd.
you. I thought it was longer.
Same.
Wait.
I thought it was
71
longer
to
too.
92.
Episode 71 to episode 92.
Bro, that's
Dang,
still
that
damn near
was
20
absurd.
episodes, bro.
Bro, the first, I believe, I won't even say first 15. The first 10 was legitimately a waste of time.
Oh yeah,
Legitimately,
facts.
people find their stone, their heart of stone or whatever it was called, or something like that. I'm like, bruh, like Mitsuki just went rogue. Why are we paying attention to this? Like, I don't know, bro. They was building up the character of all the synthetic human beings, and they want to drive home the point that hey, synthetic human beings also have a heart. They also have will as well, and of course, you can kind of connect that to the Shinju currently right now, stuff like that. How they have heart, they have a will as well, and we have to find out what they actually want. Regardless, I feel like they could have shortened this to like probably like 5 to 10 episodes and actually kept the Kata organization elements, and also plus with the messaging with the synthetic human beings.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
they could have done that, and I'd been fine with it.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say that when you bring that up though, that brings up a good point though. Like it was some type of foreshadowing though, like in that, so it was necessary. But I hear what you're saying. They could have cut it down a little bit. They ain't have to drag it on because 20 episodes is absurd.
Yeah, and to be honest, if hypothetically, if you're going to include a 20, let's not say 20, an episode anime only arc,
Well,
you
hold
can't
on.
just have
Hold on. How many? How long are arcs typically?
like 5 to 10 episodes, sometimes 15, the long ones.
Okay.
Yeah, like for example, a matter of fact, this is a bad example because a lot of people pretty much start watching the Boruto anime at this particular point. But one of the best anime original arcs was when Boruto was when Boruto was figuring out the cycle of hatred. That was like the Funamushi arc at the very end, and that was a super long arc. And I feel like that arc was like way shorter than this. That arc was like 15 episodes, and that was like a whole war. That was like legitimately a whole entire war in the
And it
arc.
was boring as fuck too.
I disagree.
Bruh,
But
the
yeah,
battle, the end battle, bro. I was expecting some.
What arc was born? Which arc was born?
the
I mean,
Funamushi arc.
not
But-
a hundred,
not
not
fun.
100% boring. I did enjoy some aspects of that arc, but when I say boring, I'm saying that like the end fight with the Susukage, what's bro's name? The shark looking dude, I can't remember his name from the
the
Are you talking
Mizukage.
about the Bonato clan
Which one?
arc? The
I mean
no
Choji.
no no
Mizukage?
Misukage. Yeah. His fight with the
Choji,
last
that's
guy.
what it was.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
last fight, bro. That he just easy work of him, bro. Like slight work, bro, and it was over. Like, like the climax for the war that was supposed to happen. Maybe I had my expectations a little bit too high, but I thought it was gonna be like a full on war or some shit like that, and it didn't manifest to that. So maybe I just had my hopes up a little bit too high. Like with my qualms with the Boruto anime, like I do understand
That
the
arc is
meaning
doo-doo.
behind it is because it started off in a time of peace and stuff like that. So they try to like more cater to children and stuff like that. So like maybe that's the reason. But even if you go back to like early Naruto, they was catering to children and stuff like that, and it was real dark, you know. But they didn't start off in a time of peace. They started off in a time of war. So it's different for these characters now. So I mean, I kind of understand like where the writers are going with it, and now we're transitioning to TBV, which is like the animator said it's going to be too serious, unlike
Well,
part one.
well, yeah. Well, I feel like to tackle that first, I think for kids shows in 2016 is like significantly different than for kids shows in like 1995. Like for you can even watch
Oh, come on,
WWE and how
stop it.
WWE used to be doing all that crazy stuff back in the
Yeah,
WWF
yeah.
era, and now in WWE people say it's watered down. So like for kids
Facts,
shows are like
facts, facts.
viewed differently in time zones. But also I feel like that arc in itself, the Funato arc, I feel like that would be like a bad example of like an anime only arc because that doesn't necessarily give you too much of the manga stuff in it. That was more of like a specific Boruto character development arc. So I
Yeah.
kind of agree with that. That shouldn't necessarily be like a TBV arc. But I do think that like let's say even the deep arc, the Kata actuation arc, that has a place in TBV. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Oh yeah,
mind something like
facts,
that for like the
facts.
new character.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
no,
Yeah, I
100%.
kept Natsu clan arc is doo doo.
I disagree.
It had its points. It had
I
its
think that's one
points.
of the toughest arcs.
I see what they were trying to do, but they just
You're
didn't
crazy,
do it
bar.
well. They just didn't do it well. Like and that's not. It's not. I never had an issue with the time of peace thing because I've seen Boruto do this where they tell great, compelling story arcs, and we're still within the time of peace. So I never chalked it up to it's because it's no, because even if it's peaceful times, there can still be dramatic stories told. It doesn't have to be world ending. It can still be seat throbbing dramatic stories being told. It's like what's going to happen next, and they've done that at times, and they open up the anime with a great example, like I said, the Sumire arc. Her about to destroy the village. It's like we know Naruto can likely shut this thing down if he wanted to, but everything was happened with a certain nuance to it that gave like that detective feel and also that ninja feel, but also it's like there's stakes regardless of the time of peace that they're living in, and they worked their way around it because there was a lot of arcs where both Boruto and Sarada had to realize, dang, we're so used to peaceful times, or had to realize, oh, we have to actually get serious. And those are the elements they can tackle, as opposed to just giving us a completely like it's obvious for me, bro, especially as a consumer who done seen so many anime. When it's obvious when you're giving me a throwaway villain, and it's even worse when I notice, okay, this villain won't last next episode, bro. Like, and Boruto has too many of those, and that's the thing that I believe that they don't want to see in TBV anime. And I believe even when they come back, however they do it, but finishing off this cold arc and going into the omnipotence arc is gonna be like a precursor, and they have an opportunity, and I truly believe they are understanding like the dilemma they are in terms of quality and the consumer content being interesting enough. So we don't want to see the useless things, essentially the things that we can go it out, and they want the work to look good. So I believe those are the two main things that they are focusing on and that they will work on. And also I believe that a lot of the animators have a lot of the concerns and complaints that we do. However, it just goes to like it's a job hierarchy. So I still got faith in them. And if we just stray away from arcs, like Funato Clan arc had good, like its highs moments, like a civil war within the hidden misfit, like that's something I would be interested in. But they so many moments folded, and you take so much time building up the wrong things to the point where when you actually get to the tension, it's like it's underwhelming or it's something that just people don't care about really. So it's tough.
To an extent, I can agree, but overall, I have to disagree. Here's the reason why I have to disagree. Well, let me get to why I agree. I agree because the pacing of a lot of the Boruto anime only arcs, it was terrible. What they'll do is like they'll have like 5 episodes of build up, just hypothetically. I know the Funato arc was significantly longer than this, but like 5 episodes of build up and like 2 episodes of action. Like stuff like that cannot happen. Like you cannot have like the first six, 5 or 6 episodes of a 7 arc series be like absolutely boring, trash. Animation is terrible. In the last episode, you try to make it all up. That can't happen. So I kind of agree with them from that perspective. The Funato arc, I feel like, is a little bit different because people gave up on it before it even started. People just didn't really care about it. I think that this right here is like a function of people who actually watch or read the manga. If you read the manga, you're gonna understand that the Funata clan arc or the Funata characters, they're not really gonna have a big impact on the actual big stuff, and no one's really gonna care. But like, I don't necessarily think like you should judge villains off of that. Like what's it called, Goku Black. I know that's right. I know this is going to a completely different series, but he has no impact in the overall series of Dragon Ball Super. But people still look at him as like an amazing villain because his first introduction, people thought he was gonna actually do something. People didn't necessarily have the moral arc in mind when they were actually watching that arc and when it was animated. It's like I feel like things like that kind of hurt the Boruto anime in regards to like the hardcore fans because we already know the overall storyline. We already know this has nothing to do with the Karma. So this has nothing to do with the Kata organization, nothing to do with Otsuki clan. So people automatically before the arc even started, like I seen the reaction when the arc was even announced. Like people disliked it and they were saying they weren't going to watch it. So the arc, in my personal opinion, was already doomed from the description of the arc. The arc didn't even really come out before people was like, all right, I'm not watching. Even Free Game.
What was
Free Game didn't even watch it.
I did watch it. What are you talking about?
Gang, you give up on it early.
I watched the full thing. The last episode was when bro sliced him up. I told you, I watched the final battle. I watched the whole thing.
The final battle, bro.
No. I watched it from beginning when Boruto and him were friends. And then bro found out that he was a part of the Funato art. Oh no, sorry, he ran away because he wanted to build ships with whoever took him in and shit like that. I watched the full thing, bro. I know the whole thing. And then he met his sister and blah blah blah. And like I watched the full thing, bro. I watched Boruto try to sacrifice himself. I watched all of it, bro.
That's
I will say, as far like when you say that basically people ain't giving the arcs a chance, I agree, but I also will say that it's like that's Boruto's like that's his whole niche. Like since it started, nobody never gave it a chance, but it's proven time and time again that it can prove people wrong. And for example, when it comes to like specifically anime original content, like because at the time when the anime was going, they would always announce the arc and give us a rollout of like images of characters and some descriptions and stuff. The Funato clan arc did not get very well reception. However, the first few episodes, I will say, because me personally, I was never one to feed into the hype, whether it be the negative hype or the positive hype. The first few episodes was actually compelling to me, and I thought the story started out in a very interesting way, and I wanted to see how it went. Unfortunately, the meat, like the in-between pause, it wasn't there, and it wasn't hitting. The animation was good for the most part throughout the arc. I would say it was acceptable, and they had excellent like Boruto versus the sister. That the girl who was shooting the arrows, that was probably my favorite episode. Yeah, it was my favorite episode in the whole arc. So they had episodes and times of ups that like showed you like they can actually do this and make it compelling and interesting enough. So regardless of even if people like say it's this, that, or the third before it drops, because there's always going to be disingenuous takes like that. Those are just like, you know what I'm saying? You just have to chalk those up to the birds. But with arcs like I say personally, one of my other favorite anime original arcs was that the Squid Games arc. One of the last
don't go into that. That was gonna be my next topic. I wanted to know y'all guys' favorite arcs, but hold on.
I ain't gonna say it's not like I'm not listing my favorites, but I'll say for this specific example, like the Squid Game arc, one of the last arcs before the Code arc.
Yeah, with the last enter.
Bro, when that was announced, I was still on the. I
Hey,
was already on the like edge of like I'm tired, Boruto. Like y'all should already get the hint by now. Like do what we got to do. But the arc was good,
that arc was
and I
fire.
watched the
Hey,
arc. And I
bro.
watched it when I was actually intrigued. And the girl, the Kara in her, Olga, she's actually one of my favorite Kara in her. I know she's anime
Yeah,
only, but like actually like the whole idea of like having her brain be her superpower in
bro.
this
She
world of
was
ninjas.
OP.
And it was different, bro. She had a genjutsu within a genjutsu within a
Mm-hmm.
genjutsu. It was
Bro,
like, yeah,
she
this
was
is different.
OP, bro.
And I'm like, arcs like that can take because at the time we're still going through the code stuff. I'm pretty sure we were going through at the time in the manga. Kara, we were approaching the omnipotence arc. All of this stuff was going down, but the Boruto anime was actually keeping me compelled week by week because I'm trying to see how is Boruto going to find his way out of this maze and back to Sasuke. And it had nothing to do with the overall story, but it was interesting enough. And they used little things to tie it in with like the Oga, the ninth Kara inner that
Mm-hmm.
people didn't know about, how Amato worked and did surgery on her brain, how basically Jigen ultimately wanted her to die because she could, basically mess with his brain. It was just like interesting little things that
Right.
you can take from the story and just appreciate it for. So I think that's some arc like the Funato Clan arc. It's missing those type of elements to where you can point out these little things that are like very compelling. And even with the Deepa arc, Deepa was clowned beyond measures when he was announced. And then
Yep.
everybody, I find very few to little Deepa haters after the arc has
Oh, ain't
finished.
no
Like
deeper
everybody
haters.
loves
Come on
it.
now.
You
What?
said what?
I don't know any deeper haters, bro.
Yeah,
Deeper
yeah,
was one
that's what
of
I'm
the
saying. It's
coldest
like
characters.
non-existent almost. And when he first dropped, people were comparing him to Hisoka. People were comparing him to
Mm-hmm.
just basically mad flamboyant anime characters and just calling him a
Mm-hmm.
knockoff. And now Deepa earned his spot as one of the favorite Boruto anime villains. So I think they
Mm-hmm.
have what it takes, despite of like the raw reaction. They have what it takes. It's just a matter of do they follow through once they actually swing. And a lot of I ain't gonna say most, but a lot of times they miss on that follow through.
Yo,
Unfortunately.
I just want to say, I don't know if you was on the pod when I said this. Oh, I doubt it because this was when the anime like was in was on air. My bad. That episode of the Kara Inner, I watched that backwards. Now I clown
What,
on Bara for watching was it
Yeah,
JJK
Jujutsu Kaisen.
backwards, but I
what you mean you
watched
watch it?
that back, bro.
How you watch it backwards?
Bro, because I didn't watch it when it was like coming out. Like I had like kind of dropped the Boruto anime for a little bit and wasn't watching
Uh
too many episodes, but I had seen some shit on YouTube and I was like, "Oh shit, this is interesting. This really happened in Boruto." So I went and I watched it. But for some reason, I started at the last episode and it confused the fuck out of me.
hey
I,
yo, that's you so with the Deepa arc when they fought Deepa
no. With the inner, the chick with the
with
genjutsu.
the Squid Game arc. Oh hell yeah. Oh what?
Yeah, bro. I
Yeah,
read
that would
that.
have
I watched that
yeah,
episode. I
yeah.
watched that backwards, bro. And I will never
Nah,
forgive
but
myself.
that's a good example of an arc though that they can follow through on for sure.
And you
Like
know
they
what's
got what
Yeah,
it takes.
crazy? You know what's crazy about that? Sorry to cut you off. The crazy thing is, I still enjoyed it, and I watched it backwards.
He knew how it was going to end. He was like, "Still, dang, what's going to happen next?"
Bro, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, but this shit is interesting as hell. What's going on?
yeah. No, I wouldn't even mind arcs like that because those are like kind of fun. You kind of know what they're playing off of and stuff like that, so it's going to draw more audience and retention. Also, or it had a Kata organization or Kata inner member in the in the actual arc, so I wouldn't necessarily mind that. I feel like the biggest thing that probably needs to be cut out is just like the even though I like it, the arc like Funato Clan that has the Funato arc that has nothing to do with the overall plot. I feel like that right there is like we should probably cut those out. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I see the poll also saying that they don't want no anime filler episodes. They want all manga.
Straight
60,
manga content.
67%. So I mean, some people
They
still
want it
want the
straight from the
filler.
source.
Man, I don't
And
know, man. I
realistically,
don't know if they can do it without filler, but still, cause you know, manga is just snapshots. You know, we need more. Like you can't just have just like
yeah,
snapshot by
that's what I
snapshot. They
mean. It's
gotta like
always
really
gonna
draw it
have to
out.
be more. it's gonna always have to be more. But make that more useful. Make that more good enough to where I don't realize it wasn't in the manga.
They should
Basically,
make. They should make. If they're gonna do the manga, they should make 2 episodes or 2 or 3 episodes out of every manga chapter. Or is it 4 episodes? They were doing 4 episodes per manga chapter, right?
not Boruto.
Yeah, not
Nah,
Boruto.
they was just
It was-
doing
Hell
one.
no, that sound like One Piece to me.
They was just
Sometimes they-
doing one.
Sometimes they
They
do
were
2
doing-
chapters in one episode.
Two
Yeah,
chapters? When?
Sometimes they do like
Okay.
a chapter and a half. or 2 chapters.
When? Refresh my memory. What chapter had 2 episodes?
For the
I
most part,
forgot. I have to go back and look.
When Boruto would animate manga content, like, and the episode would end, it would always end either in the middle of a chapter or like right before the next chapter. So it was always like they would do like parts of chapters, sometimes half chapter, half anime content, and they would do sometimes 2 chapters into one episode, like if it's mainly fights. So there's a lot. It was something like it was like that's what they normally did. So it's not like a couple times to point out. Like that's how they normally, whenever they did anime, whenever they did manga content, they would always do it like that in parts.
Oh, got you.
They would go through it pretty easily though.
Okay.
Especially if there's no anime original content.
Bad.
Yeah, even episode 65. That is like the most famous one I remember. That was multiple chapters. Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki. That was multiple chapters.
Yeah,
Was it
that
really?
actually was.
Yeah.
Because at one point, I think at somewhere in the middle of the episode is like an end of a Boruto chapter. And then it goes
All right,
into
so
the
chapter 9 starts off with Boruto utilizing Rasengan, and that was like probably 10 minutes into the episode. So like, yeah, it's like, to be honest, it was 2.5 chapters.
That's
episode
crazy.
65.
That's insane. That's
It was
insane.
probably- yeah, it
Yeah,
was
they
that
gotta.
much. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I did not read the beginning part of Boruto. I did not read I only read the manga when Kawaki showed up. So anything prior to Kawaki, manga wise,
I read it at the Funado arc.
I don't know how that played out, but
I ain't read it
No,
either,
not
but
the
I remember.
Funado arc. I'm sorry. What's the one where he meet that dude? That
Mujina Bandits.
Mujina Bandits. Yeah, that's when I locked in.
Yeah, that's when most people locked in because we already seen this during the movie. We was like, all right, what's next?
Oh,
feel me?
facts.
I had my eye on it because the tattoos was going crazy and people were spamming the tattoos, all those karma seals on the wall online. So I remember that, but it wasn't until Kawaki was knocked out on the ground. I remember it because at that time I was already doing anime videos for a little bit now. And then I saw that somebody had posted a picture. I'm like, this is new. I've never seen, at the time, the blonde haired kid. That's what we called him. I'm like, I've never seen nigga was knocked out. I picked up that chapter ASAP and I made a video on that chapter. I was like, yo, that's crazy, chat. We talking about the manga now.
We used to call him Iwabe, but when I had I think around chapter 15 I tapped in. Chapter 15.
Alright, I want to know you guys' favorite. Since we're talking about anime, before we get into the spoilers, real quick. I know, guys, you want to get into the spoilers, but I just have one more question for my cast. What's your favorite anime episode?
Anime episode?
No, not episode. Sorry, arc. Excuse me. Your favorite arc.
And like manga arc or like just anime only arc?
Anime only, because we was talking about that prior.
Yeah, I'd probably go Funato. The Funato arc.
My choice, mine will be the arc where I don't know the name of the arc, but when Boruto goes to that prison, that's probably one of my favorite arcs right there.
Hozuki Castle.
Hozuki Castle, yeah, because it reminds me of the movie Blood Prison. I think they paid homage to that, so I like that one.
To be honest, that's like on the same level as like the Kato actuation. Not really the same level, but like we kind of knew that was headed directly into manga content. If you remember, like during chapter, I believe 15, like it started off with like not even chapter 15. I think it might be like directly after the actual tuning exam movie part. We seen them running from like a prison and being chased. So we kind of knew like that was like the precursor to the Kato organization arc or the Kato actuation.
Ooh, I'll have to look at that chapter. I ain't read those early chapters. That would be cool to make that connection for me.
Yeah, yeah, it was leading up to it too because at the end, bro, ate his brains, and that was what's his name?
Yeah,
can't remember bro's name. He's insignificant.
Shojoji.
Shijoji, yeah. Only reason why I don't remember his name, I don't respect anybody who lets a grown man make them pee their pants. So, yeah, I don't, no respect, bro. My boy took a potty in his pants before he saw Sasuke. He was like, Sasuke Uchiha! I was like, oh shit, this nigga is scared.
Clout, bro. Boy,
He,
Sasuke had clout, man.
bro, that boy, he folded like a bro. He folded with his clothes still on, bro. Like shit, he got his clothes folded with him still in it. Is what I meant to say.
That's funny.
Bro, that dude, Sasuke, he strike the fear. Like, that's like Chris Hansen with a Predator, bro. Like, once he say, I got something to tell you, I'm Chris Hansen, bro. That strikes the fear in everybody's heart. That's Sasuke, bro.
You said, I'm Chris Hansen. Hey, yo.
Sasuke to Chris Hansen, hey, motherfucking Boruto, bro. His name strike fear in, bro.
I would say though, Kara Actuation arc is my favorite anime-only arc for sure, hands down.
Kara Actuation arc.
Actually, yeah, there was too much going on in that,
though, right? That wasn't manga only. No.
No, that. What you mean, manga?
That wasn't manga. That was anime only material. Right?
Yeah, anime only.
Yeah, it was anime only, but I wasn't necessarily considering it.
And they had those twins from like the Hit and Miss village, and not twins, but those quadruplets. Those 4 ninjas, and then they had a lot of stuff going on in that arc.
Oh, with Sasuke?
Was he in? Nah, he wasn't in that arc. It was Konohamaru and Mujino was the 2 top ninja, the senior ninjas in that arc.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the arc where Sasuke, he was like in this he was at this place. He had this little girl with him or whatever, and she wanted to enact revenge against the Uchiha. She had those blood eyes.
That was in the Naruto anime, bro. That was in
the Naruto anime. I thought that was at the end of Naruto, bro. Yes. You right, gang. You right.
With Genjutsu and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was like, hold on, what are you talking about?
You right, gang. But yeah, I always thought that was Boruto. I don't know why.
That was like one of the last Naruto arcs, so that's why.
Yeah, I understand.
You're right.
Yeah, because there was a time it was understandable.
Yeah, it was one of the last ones too. So I'm just like incorporating to Boruto. That was fire though. I like that one. That was.
I love that one too. I watched that so many times.
Yeah,
that was right when I was finishing. Naruto for the first time, Naruto Shippuden. And those were like the only new episodes that was coming out.
Yeah, I was watching. Yeah, I was about to say I was watching that live because I was keeping up with Naruto episode by episode at the time. I was watching that live.
I think I missed that one though. That's why I think it was Boruto. Because I had seen it like even after I finished watching Naruto. I don't know why I didn't know it was more episodes after that.
Yeah, they had the Shikamaru stuff and then the side stuff after.
Because I'm pretty sure that I watched that after the Naruto, the last episode.
Nah, yeah, man, it was pretty much right after that. I think
it was the right Naruto
last. Yeah, Naruto the last and a Boruto movie came out during the Naruto Shippuden anime.
Yeah, all of that was dropping while Naruto Shippuden was still dropping. But they was dropping a lot of filler at the time, so they had no choice but to.
They called it canon. I was tracking it. They called it canon.
Anime canon. Nah, that's when I don't. With Naruto, that shit was straight up filler, bro. It would be like we in the middle of the 4th grade ninja war, and then next episode, Minato's the Hokage back at the village. I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh no, that was legitimate.
I'm like, that is the definition of at least with Boruto, it's not like a made up scenario. We can just say nobody cares what he's doing on this Tuesday. They literally put in Naruto and Sasuke in alternate timelines in these filler episodes, and I'm like, bro, for real.
Also, another thing, shout out to Boruto for not adding all those flashbacks, bro. That was one of the things I hate about Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. Like every 10 seconds.
Yeah, Boruto is cool with the flashback. It does enough flashbacks. It does it right.
Yeah.
It does it right.
Yeah, so let's get into the spoilers. So we only got one panel. Yeah, I got that panel so I can put it on the screen. If y'all don't mind putting it in Discord.
Yeah, I'll lob it in Discord right quick.
Alright, bet. Yeah. Even though we only got this one panel was pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie. I'm enjoying this panel. But while he looks for that, if you are currently watching, please like up the podcast. And if you want to donate to your podcasters, we really appreciate it. And if we can reach our goal, oh, I got it to 10. If you can, we can get 5 super chats. We want to do a community pod. So if you want to support your podcasters, please do that. And if you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
If we get 5 podcasters, I'm gonna do a front flip off my local Walmart rooftop right now, chat.
And he gonna record it too. He gonna get on camera on it.
And I'm gonna post it.
Hey, I was on cam last night, bro. Hey, Black said he not scared to get on cam. Bar, he a little bit facially challenged at the time right now.
That's
so
crazy, bro.
So he don't want to show his face. So we might start doing some more. We might be doing some cam pods with Bar. He just gonna be a ghost, I guess.
Factos.
I started going back to my cam videos. I used to do like a whole lot of cam videos, bro. I saw a video I had.
I think it adds more like a little flair to the podcast.
Be more personable with your
facts.
I feel that, bro. Cause I stopped. I don't know. Like the minute I figured out how to edit, bro. I started looking at. I'm like, I just stopped doing cam videos as soon as I learned how to edit. I'm like, that's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Like, let me go back.
But sometimes it's easier to edit when you on cam because you ain't really gotta like add scenes and shit like that. Yeah, you just edit the video, like edit the video and shit like that. Did you drop it? Anybody dropping in a Discord?
Yeah, I dropped it in Discord. Yeah.
All right, let me pull this up real quick.
Boy, Jura hitting that 6-pack for sure, bro. Hitting the gym.
You said what?
Yeah, for a fact.
Bro, Jura got that 6-pack, bro, hitting the gym for sure, bro. It's crazy out
definitely. Here. Yeah, you know he doing this push-ups and sit-ups, bro. He ain't just saying
you know the forearm strength he caught Boruto's hand right there. That's crazy forearm strength right there. No movement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for a fact. The thing, what's called I was about to call my guy free game. Black Uchi, I brought up a good point in the chat the other day. He was saying like, yeah, Kashin Koji must be capping. Boruto's still alive.
But bro, look
bro talking about some no. Bro.
But you gotta understand though. He said that he will die. He didn't say he's gonna go there and immediately die. So like, No. Hear me out though. Like I think that what he's saying is he has no chance of winning against Jura. Like he can go and he can fight him, he can battle him. How many times have you seen in anime and other continuities where you think that the person is getting the upper hand on the villain and the villain isn't even going all the way out and somehow destroys them? So it could be a possibility that maybe Kashin Koji wasn't wrong. I mean, I'm not saying that Boruto may not get the W on this one, but I think it's going to be because of some outside source. It's not going to be from Boruto and alone, like his power alone, that be able to overwhelm Jura and gain him the victory. It has to be something else that he's not accounting for, or like when we was talking about singularities and stuff like that. Maybe it's one of those singularities that Kashin Koji didn't take into account that actually helps Boruto, or he retreats. Who knows?
The only thing I'd say against that, Kashin Koji said he'd be done before you could say Rasengan.
Bro, did he say that?
I'm
really?
looking at the page right now. Hold on, I'm trying to
come on,
look for something right now, bro.
Drop that. I need to see this context. I don't remember this.
Kashin Koji was talking crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. He was talking crazy, bro. He was telling Boruto like all types of do's and don'ts. He's like, there's no chance whatsoever. Don't even look the nigga way, bro. I'm like, that's wild.
Well, that thing. I'm trying to go back and find the actual panel right now. But yeah, he told him he'd be done before he could even say Rasengan. My thing during this whole situation, we're just talking about the singularities. I think it's definitely possible for Ada to try to do something. And of course, the main one's going to be Momoshiki. And I think that right there should be what's going on there. Me personally, that's just what I want. But I think that Ada, because she is a singularity, and Damon now also is a singularity because of Ada. If Ada does
There we go.
tell Damon what to do, Kashi and Koji can't necessarily anticipate what Ada's impact on the battle could possibly be. You see what I'm saying? And he doesn't have like the Sengun, so he wouldn't even know if she's on her way to the battlefield.
I'm my fault, bar. I'm finna send the panel right now. So in the official translation, this in the spoilers, it basically said faster than you say Rasengan. But here, Koji says, "You listen to me, Boruto. Jura is connected to all the other divine trees through shared senses. So if you appear before Matsuri, Jura will seize you in a flash and kill you." It's been longer than a flash to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just perceiving time differently.
Facts.
Well, I think I ain't saying he's out here. He's capping, but like, I feel like Boruto. He probably just ain't like Boruto fast, bro. I think Boruto like he like fast. Like Jura can't touch him, but Boruto can't harm him.
But maybe he's because all right. So if you see multiple timelines, I don't know how his ability works. I don't know if it's like a Doctor Strange where you can like really see everything, like minute by minute, second by second, stuff like that. So maybe in some of his premonitions or like when he's seen in the future, he didn't account for certain things. Like he didn't see everything. Like he said, he saw multiple timelines where Boruto he does that and it doesn't go in his favor. So he could have possibly missed something. One of those timelines where Boruto actually like takes the upper hand, and maybe this is the reason why. But maybe not though, because it seems like he knows step by step of like what will happen. Like if you go out there, maybe he's seen this where Boruto goes and he saves Konohamaru or whatever, and that was the result. But if you have multiple infinite timelines, that can happen. That him saving Konohamaru could happen 20 times, and it could have been different outcomes each 20 times that he saw that in different timelines, or different possibilities. So
no, I agree with what you're saying because he never ever states in any iteration where he explains his power that he sees all or everything. It's always many or like all possible. He basically. So I agree with what you're saying because he says in many, and even in this panel that I just sent to the chat, in many of the premonitions, that's how it ends. Jura kills him in a flash. So it's not every premonition, many of the premonitions, right? But I will definitely chalk up his calmness, right? I don't think so. I will say this: I'm excited for what Boruto is doing. I do think Boruto is holding his own, and I do believe he has proven Kashikoji wrong to an extent. However, I don't think this is enough for Boruto to propel himself over in this fight. This is enough for him to basically hold his own. But the minute I believe this is his Achilles heel, the minute Boruto lacks, the minute he gets tired, the minute his speed drops by a half of a second, Jura will kill him. And I believe the story has shown us how Jura can kill. It's simply if he gets a good hit on Boruto, that's it. And ever since the last time Boruto has been incapacitated by Jura, way back in chapter 13, we see Jura, despite all of his efforts, wood style, bijou bombs, mini bijou snipers, and here getting physical, all of his efforts are not succeeding against Boruto due to the simple fact that he can't land a hit on him long enough for it to matter. And that's the whole thing. So Boruto ain't he don't got infinite speed. I'm not gonna chalk it up be like, oh, he's about to watch this. I don't think he's gonna watch Jura. I don't think anything he's doing to Jura right now even matters aside from the slight shock, which we'll probably get into later from this lightning jutsu that he has. But Jura, I believe he's realized this. Either he has to adapt to Boruto's speed and gets faster, or wait it out. Boruto is not going to be this fast forever. He's going to slow down. And once he slows down, it's game time. You feel me? So I think it's really just the speed. I don't want to say it's like a type of like detail that Ikimoto's doing this whole entire hidden meaning behind the hidden meaning where it's like Boruto's speed is like the sole. I mean, it is the sole reason why he's alive right now, but I'm not gonna say like it's the sole thing that proved Kashikoji wrong. Like he didn't. No, Kashikoji should know that Boruto is very adept and very quick, especially with the flying Raijin. Right. So I believe part of his calmness is also like in akin to like what Ada is saying, like Boruto's doing very good against Jura. Are you sure that he doesn't stand a chance? Kashikoji's like, he's talking calm, and I pointed this out. Like, I believe one, he has a contingency, but also it's to an extent, it's to be expected. Like, Boruto is that fast. Like, he should be fast enough to the point where, like, yes, he's not strong enough to kill Jura. Definitely, he should not get touched or hurt by Jura. But at this point, Jura is not fast enough to keep up with Boruto. So that may be like the only thing. But I don't even think it's solely due to whatever with Boruto or Jura right now. Like, whatever Kashin Koji is thinking, I don't believe, like, at this point, the minute Boruto went to the battlefield, all cards were off the table. Kashin Koji has already agreed what his next move would be, regardless if Boruto is surviving this long or the pressure would have been put on him much earlier. I do believe that Kashin Koji is about to make a move that he already has set, and it's all because of Boruto pulling up to the battlefield. But still, like, being defeated in a flash, that's something that Boruto proved, like, hey, bro, like, I can hold my own against fate.
Yeah, and I don't. Oh, go ahead, Bar. I was talking for a while. You can go ahead.
I was about to say, what are the chances that Jura was holding back?
That's what I was just about to ask. So I'm glad you asked that.
Shit, high, but I don't think he will get, like, faster. I think he can adapt. If he like basically locks in long enough, maybe he starts to get more serious. Yes, I believe it's possible to adapt to Boruto's speed. But I think the speed is Boruto's only edge. Like, if Ikimoto takes that away from Boruto right now, and Jura doesn't kill Boruto, then we're going to be having some serious discussions about the writer's decision. But right now, it works as to all the affirmations that Boruto will die by Jura's hand. However, all of the proof that Boruto is avoiding this death, and it all goes back to, like, the speed and, you know, the quick thinking on Boruto's end.
Do you think?
I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just going to ask, like, because you didn't really answer the question. Do you think that Jura is holding back though? Like,
no, I said yeah. I believe he can adapt more.
I'm sorry. Okay.
I definitely do. I think he can get for a fact. I think he can get stronger. I said I don't think he can get faster necessarily, but I think he can adapt to Boruto's speed. So yeah, I don't think he's like all out. This is strong, but it doesn't matter if however strong you are if you're not fast enough to land the hit. So that's how I think what they're trying to depict right there.
I would highly doubt that Jura is slower than Boruto, but I mean we've yet to see. That's why I like speculating off of just like one panel rather than full spoilers, because Bara actually like full spoilers before they come out, because we get to speculate. You don't think that Jura was possibly like giving Boruto like a run for his money before we got to this panel though? I don't think that Boruto is just putting quick work, like easy work on Jura. Like, as you can see on Boruto's face, like just like the way that he's looking and stuff like that, like he's really like going as hard as he can.
Facts.
And that purple lightning and stuff like that, I think that's the only thing that really saved him.
I actually think that purple lightning is more like a distract. Like, even if he did that purple light, because at the end of that panel, bro, he flying Raijins up out of there. Like, I really do think it's the speed that's saving him, and that's the only. I don't think Boruto, like, he's putting in work in terms of like he's surviving, like he's alive, and that's a win right now in Boruto's book. So as far as that, but like anything beyond that, it's a hard pill for me to swallow. Pause. To actually accept Boruto. Like, I don't think he's about to be put in the part. Like, these jutsus he's landing on Jura. He's already landed 2 Rasengans, one of them being an Uzuhiko, and then he's just landed a purple lightning attack, and Jura doesn't have no scratch marks on his body. So it's obvious Boruto doesn't have what it takes to hurt him. I think so. I don't think like he has what it like right now. Right. So I don't think it's more. I don't really. My props to Boruto is more so just like being alive this long and making it look good. Like, he could have been a punching bag. Not to say because he's been getting tagged, yes, but like he could have been a punching bag, say, throughout this whole entire battle, right? And we know he's not healing like Himawari. Not to throw disrespect, because I rock with Himawari, one of my favorite, but she wasn't Jura's punching bag, but like she did take a lot of hits from Jura in that fight, and it got to a point where he was just testing shit out. So I think Boruto is doing very good, at least for everything that we've been told and everything that we've been saying.
True. Now, I feel like Kashin Koji could be wrong. And the reason why I said he could be is because Boruto is also a singularity. So like the things that he's seeing in his futures for Boruto, like those things could be wrong because Boruto knows about the futures and has the ability to change those futures. So I feel like that could be like where Kashin Koji is mixing things up right now.
You're right. I do believe that.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
think that he like sorry, let me get closer. You don't think that he knew prior to letting Boruto know that he would become a singularity and he wouldn't take that into account? Because Kashin Koji, you know, I don't wanna like give him the one on one Jiraiya, but Jiraiya was like highly intelligent. And if Kashin Koji is anything like him, he would take into consideration, hey, if I let him know everything, that's why he holds back on a lot of stuff too. Like he doesn't tell Boruto the full future. He holds back a lot. As you can see, Boruto getting mad when he was asking about Konohamaru dying and stuff like that, and he wouldn't give him a straight answer. So I mean, I think I'm still conflicted on this singularity thing. I had sent you a message actually, Bar. I don't know if you've seen it, but I was just like trying to do some research on what like singularity is, and it had nothing to do. Well, hold on, I have to look back into it, but it didn't really make sense in the aspect of Boruto.
What you mean?
As far as like what?
Like the singularity. All right, so like when you become a singularity like with AI and stuff like that, like you become a part of the singularity with that and stuff like that, like you basically become one with AI basically, so you're a part of this, some type of singularity. I have to look it up real quick though, but yeah, it's just weird. It's weird. It's different forms, and then I tried to I asked ChatGPT to like put it in the terms of the Boruto, and in terms of Boruto, and explain it in a way. But let me look at my screenshots real quick, and I can tell you what it says.
Yeah. Yeah, rock out.
All right, but yeah,
No, I was gonna say that in my idea, like I feel like Kashin Koji should have kind of known like his futures are a little bit changing. Like for example, even once Kashin Koji first got his abilities, he could have seen the possibility where they survive Ishiki Utsuki, they survive what is it? Kawaki's flipping or whatever it is, and then they come to the situation. But he should have already the idea or the fact that Boruto is getting stronger, those futures should have probably changed. So I do kind of agree with that. Where Kashin Koji should be kind of like adjusting his future visions based on how strong Boruto actually is, even though Boruto is already a singularity. So I even possibly like after Kashin. Oh, he's about to say something.
Oh no, go ahead, Rock. I'll let you finish that.
Yeah, I was about to say, even though Kashin Koji like completely changed, and I feel like he probably like 3x like Boruto's training ability. I feel like that in itself should have been like the biggest shift in his future visions when it comes to not Jigen, when it comes to Jura and the rest of the Shinjus. But hypothetically, in this situation, I feel like he might not be taking into account like, let's say the micro details that Boruto knows. Like for example, he knows like Jura's secrets. He knows about all that other stuff. So it could be an informational advantage that Boruto has now. But even past that, I feel like it's for sure possible that Boruto is. Maybe this is like out there, but he's like overestimating what Kashin Koji thought he was, like power wise.
I see what you're saying. Well, I would say so. For with Kashin Koji, there is
but go ahead.
everything. Okay, I was gonna say with everything that he does take account for, it's like within the grasp of his ability. Because if we go back to that flashback when he first saved Boruto in the Sand Village from those ninja, the conversation, especially the start of the conversation, how they had, is very important to let you know like how things were being played out, because at that point we already understand, regardless of how Kashin Koji found Boruto, he understood the current situation they were in would be either one or the other. Either he was right about omnipotence happening, or he was wrong, and Boruto is actually the kid that grew up in Kara, and he's actually on the run for the things that he actually did, based off of how the timeline went out. But when he's explained to Boruto, well, before he even said anything to Boruto, he said something to Boruto. I can't exactly say word for word, but Boruto's response was, "Do you know about omnipotence?" And, okay, so Kasha Koji said basically, "Answer me truthfully. Are you Boruto?"
Yeah.
Basically, and with that question, Boruto automatically knew, like, that's crazy. He's been going through the last year, because at this point it's in a time skip. The last year, everyone has forgotten who he was, and everyone basically perceives him as Kawaki. So that question let Boruto know. So Boruto responded, "Do you know of omnipotence?" And then that's when Kasha Koji went on to say, "Okay, so that means this is the future that we're in." So he had to get certain things clarified before he can actually know what was going
Mm-hmm.
down. And then once he started telling Boruto, he said, even now, the future is changing as he's revealing all of this information. And that was when he's telling Boruto basically the truth about the Shinju popping up in a few years, the truth about what happened previously with Ishiki, and the futures where Kawaki killed Boruto and Sarada, or where, excuse me, the future where Code killed Kawaki. He's telling him all of these things, and then he's telling him right now, in this very moment, the future is changing because you now have all of this information. So at the very least, from that point onward, Kashin Koji, everything that he knew, the information and the memories don't go away. But at that point forward, everything that particularly branched off of certain future scenarios were future paths in a world where Boruto didn't understand the truth of prescience and receiving help from Kashin Koji. So now that he has this help from Kashin Koji, the world is kind of like going in an advanced state, because he's telling Boruto all of these things that Boruto learns when he's 19 and 20 years old. So that already says Boruto is, at the very least, he survives in this world on his own for at least another 5 to 6 years, figuring out things on his own. So Kasha Koji is just telling him, "Hey, this is what you figured out on your own. I'm gonna just tell you how you did it." And it's crazy because, like, he's giving him details of like certain shapes to travel to with like the flying Raijin. Well, then that lets me believe, like, he's not just glancing at these futures, he's actually able to find out minute details in these futures, and basically trial and errors, because he's telling Boruto, this is the trial and error that your older self went through in order to figure out, or in order to get to this point. So I do agree with you, freaking. His power is confusing in that sense, but there's going to be things he doesn't take into account for, if it's already like a possible, and it's like a contradictory, because now we're like, it's like, what came first, the chicken or egg? But if it's not a possible future that could branch off the branches that are already on the path, it's not something that he's going to see. So if a singularity like Boruto makes another move, so something like that happening, or someone like Momoshiki, or maybe even someone like Ada doing something that he wouldn't account for, or basically, shouldn't account for, it's going to set the entire timeline back again. And it's going to be a whole different bunch of brand new futures and branches. So that's really how it is. But there's going to be there's already things that he showed us with his conversation with Boruto that's like, okay, I didn't account for this, or the future is currently changing right now, so I'm gonna have to take in all of this information, or account for this, that, or the third.
All right. Yeah, no, for sure. I hear what you're saying. But I
Did
found
you?
it though.
Oh,
Yeah. All
I
right.
rock out.
So the
Right.
scientific, actually, I think Wavy though, he says singularity. Think in terms of a black hole, and then he's absolutely right. It says a singularity is a point in space where gravity is infinite and time and space stop making sense. Example: the center of a black hole is a singularity. Matters Matter gets crushed into an infinitely small dense point. And then when I asked about like how it fits in Boruto, hold on, let me go back. It says when Kashin Koji gains the ability to see multiple timelines, alternate futures, realities, outcomes, and those he shares that knowledge with become part of the singularity. Here's what's going on. I don't want to go there. Hold on. Alright, never mind. The singularity point of no return in destiny. Once someone knows the future across timelines, they're no longer just a passive player in one reality. They're now connected to all versions of reality. Every decision that they make is now entangled with outcomes across time and dimensions. In short, they stepped into a higher level of fate where their awareness collapsed multiple possibilities into one inevitable path, the singularity. And it says share knowledge burden. When Kashin Koji's future knowledge with others, when Kashin Koji shares future knowledge with others, it changes their role in the timeline permanently. Their choices are no longer free, they're now anchored to the future they've seen. They become part of the mechanism pushing events toward a fixed outcome, i.e., the singularity. So it says, like, now that you know you can't unknow, you're part of the force that will make it happen, basically.
So everything that Boruto does doesn't make sense in this world.
Nah, Kashin Koji explained that differently though. He explained that differently. He says because you're a singularity, you can now change the future.
Yeah, because you know the future, so you can make certain sense. All right, so like, let me put it in.
So we have to talk it up.
Hold
Kasha
on,
Koji
like,
is contradicting himself, bro.
let me put it in.
Nah, I don't.
Let me put it in this aspect though. Like, if say you can see the future, right?
Yeah.
And in this future, you see somebody that has like a freaking, let's say, a big boulder about to fall on their head. And you see that person, and you know in about 5 seconds this boulder's gonna fall. Let me get them out of the way. You know the future, so you can, in a sense, affect the future because you made what the future was supposed to be not happen. It's kind of like Final Destination, if you ever seen that. Like, they know the future, they can see the future, and they try to change it and stuff like that. And the ones they change it, the ones they actually change the future for. I think they explained that like some type of singularity in that movie too. Like once you know the future, like yeah. Go ahead.
What you just read is kind of like it wouldn't be that because you're able to change it. What you read is like more of like a That's So Raven type of thing where she's able to see the future, but she can't change it. It's gonna happen regardless. But that's different than what Kashin Koji explained, where it's like the singularity can change the future.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, we're reading it in a science fiction way.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, even though all that is science fiction, and the writers can like tweak it in their own way, but I just pull that up though.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't necessarily say like Kashin Koji is lying or he's like contradicting himself.
He could be possibly, bro. You never know, bro.
He could be, but I just think that
beta switch in Naruto a lot in the past, even in Boruto.
The only reason I say he contradicts himself is because it's like we already know. He said we're walking a tightrope in the future that basically they save Sasuke and kill Jura. It's a tightrope, but they're on the line. And then he says, "There's no way in hell if anyone in the world, everyone tags together, y'all not beating Jura. It's quiet. Do not fight him. You see him, run." Right? And then he said, "It's like he's like you're a singularity of fate, boy. So you have the ability to change. They can change the fate. Then if there's no like, come on, bro. It's I don't know. It's a lot of details in there for sure, but." It's so much that you can't. It's a contradiction in there. 100% guaranteed. There is a contradiction in there.
What's one of the main things people say? If it sounds like a lie, most likely it's a lie.
That's true.
Yeah, if it makes no sense, then most likely it's a lie. That's what I meant to say.
Makes no sense. I can't get $1.
Well, and speaking of it being a lie, let's go into that idea. I think it's definitely possible for Kashin Koji to be trying to doing. Oh, I think it's possible for Kashin Koji to be trying to do what he did with Sarada to Boruto, where he kind of forced Sarada into a position where she had to unlock her Mangekyo Sharingan. I feel like that's going to eventually help the overall mission. And in this particular situation, it could be a situation where he's forcing Boruto, even though like, we're just assuming that he knew Boruto was going to leave him, and he's going to try to help out Kajin Code, and he's going to eventually find himself in this position. He could be feeding that information in Boruto's mind, like he's going to die regardless. So he's now going to try to like find something within himself to unlock, which is going to be different than if you'd have just stayed put or just not even knew that he was going
I
to die.
agree. I
Yeah,
like the manipulation idea for Kashin
yeah.
Koji.
That to be honest, that seems like it would be the most realistic situation at this particular point if he really lied about him being dead in like a flash.
I believe that there could, because he said in the chat, was it? I think it was even in the page that I sent, or no? Okay, so it was like a page before that. Basically, they were going back and forth, and Boruto's rebuttal prompted Kashin Koji to say, basically, this very conversation is the reason why I didn't tell you, basically, what was going to happen to Yoda because of this very conversation that we're having. So, my fault, bro. I'm messing up these Pringles, bro. Them shits is good. So it's like, yeah, those shits is crazy. So it's like, it's the proof is in the pudding, especially when we see their conversations with each other. Kashin Koji is plotting. I've said it time and time again. Long story short, like he's plotting. So there's going to be certain things that he can withhold from Boruto, and certain things that he decides to withhold from Boruto. He can't take back the fact that Boruto knows what he knows, so Boruto is a singularity, but he can control how much Boruto knows because Kashin Koji is the one with the ability. So it makes sense, especially for him to be in a manipulative role and to say certain things in order to entice Boruto to probably propel him on a future path that he sees, but on the current path that they're on, like Boruto wouldn't be able to make it there without the manipulation on Kashin Koji's end.
True. So yeah, I could see something like that being the case. And this right here falls directly. Well, it falls in line with the Momoshiki theory. He's basically saying that out loud, so Momoshiki knows like he's gonna lose his vessel unless he does something.
Got to.
So
that's 100% right.
So do you guys see? What do you guys see the outcome of the battle being by the end of the chapter, though? Because I don't think this is just going to be a one chapter thing. I highly doubt it.
Kashin Koji's pulling up by the end of the chapter.
I'm going with Kawaki.
You said Kawaki?
Yeah, I think Kawaki got his limiters removed.
That's crazy.
But
I think he got them removed too, for sure. But
the only reason why I wouldn't necessarily say that is because Kashin Koji, Kawaki's not a singularity, so Kashin Koji would be taking that into account.
True, that's true.
But would it need to be a singularity to show up in order to save Boruto? Like it could just be a set path where on this future, Boruto makes a dumb decision. However, somebody's interruption can set them on a better path.
Well, no, yeah, that could be that. I mean, this could go back like well further, before this, where what's it called? Boruto is the person who pretty much told Kawaki that he has limiters on, and that he needs to remove the limiters. So he needs to go to Amato to remove the limiters. Kashin Koji could have told Boruto to say that, so they do open up a possibility of Kawaki saving the day at this particular point.
Could it be a possibility? Could it be a possibility that since Boruto is a singularity, you would have assumed that Kashin Koji would have known that if he said certain words, it was going to trigger Boruto to go to the battlefield. Like he should have seen that. Like when he, because like that happened like he got the ability way before he even met Boruto. Like actually met Boruto and started teaming up with him. No, so he had to see that conversation happen and Boruto fleeing off.
Well, he's going off of probability, so he probably seen that future, but he also seen the futures where he had that exact same conversation with Boruto, but Boruto stays.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you add Boruto as a singularity, right? Boruto did something that wasn't that he didn't foresee, because as him being a singularity, he can pretty much create his own timeline. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but like he, in a sense, can act on his free will when he knows, when since he's a singularity. So that event right there, where he pulls up on Jura, when that happens, since Kashin Koji didn't see that in any other timelines, this could be one of the possibilities where Kawaki would show up. And Jura wouldn't even, I mean, not Jura, Kashin Koji wouldn't even known that because he didn't see that timeline, because Boruto is a singularity at that point. I don't know. But this,
Oh, say it again. Oh, my bad. I was trying to set up my into my.
oh my goodness. Alright, so Kashin Koji, he saw all possibilities, right? So when he saw those possibilities, he seen when Boruto pulled up and he got killed by Jura all those several times. Every time he pulled up, with Boruto being the singularity, he most likely seen the same thing where he pulled up and he killed Matsuri, and as soon as he pulled up, Jura pulled up. So at this point in time, Boruto, as we are right now, Boruto is now a singularity. So if we're going off of what your guys saying, like with him being a singularity, he can basically, in a sense, create his own timeline that Kashin Koji didn't foresee, because him being the singularity would change things in a sense, right? So since he knows the future and he knows what's going to happen, because he told him in any possibility Juro is going to kill you or whatever like that. So he kind of gives them some insight on the future on that. So like he knows what's supposed to happen, but he leaves. And if you would think that like before he became a singularity and Kashin Koji, he's seen all these infinite timelines, when he told Boruto that, he probably stayed in most of the timelines. So that wasn't a factor. He didn't have to worry about him pull it up. But now since he's a singularity and he gave him that information, Boruto now in a sense like created his own timeline that wasn't seen by Kashin Koji, because of the simple fact that he is a singularity and he can in a sense manipulate the future or create a different timeline where he actually comes out on top. And what else I say? And what's my boy's name? Kawaki, where Kawaki comes at that point in time. Because he wouldn't take that into account because he never seen it.
In a way, yeah. That's kind of why I talked about like the information being like a different part of the equation that Kashin Koji is not necessarily taking into account. Like power wise, strength wise, maybe Boruto gets washed, but Boruto now has information that Kashin Koji and his future sight isn't necessarily accounting for Boruto having, because Boruto is a singularity.
Right.
So that could be the situation. My only thing is like now, like Kashin Koji would be privy to things in the future, because I'm pretty sure he's getting visions now. Like the fight hypothetically is lasting significantly longer than most of his actual visions told me it would be lasting longer. So Kashin Koji is now seeing all the future visions. So like, what is he seeing now? Like, does he see Boruto still losing in all of them? Is it just like a longer?
Is that stated that after he seen no timelines, he's seen them again and again and again?
Are you cutting off a little bit, my man?
Oh, sorry.
I was muted, bro. I was trying to talk. I said you was cutting off again.
Sorry. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
So, is it stated that then that in those different timelines, I mean, he's constantly seeing different timelines, or it was just that one time that he's seen infinite timelines? Like, is he Doctor Strange, where like at any point in time this dude can pull up like I can't remember the number, but it was freaking insane how many timelines that man seen. Like, is he Doctor Strange? Is he doing that type of shit? Like, or is he when his powers manifested, he just seen all timelines at that one point?
I think it's like that where it's always like evolving. Like for example, I forgot the actual thing that my Black Uchiha just said, but Black didn't you just say like during the conversation, Kasha Koda says he's seeing different futures as he's having the conversation.
Yeah, so when he basically once he revealed to Boruto, the minute that Boruto became a singularity, like once he revealed to Boruto he has prescience and there's all these different futures and stuff, he said the future is changing currently as they were speaking. And
Mm.
he describes his power as like not particularly anybody who doesn't know the
What?
future because they're acting on their own like you say hold on.
No, I was just gonna say,
Oh.
but like he's seeing infinite timelines, so I would assume that he's going off of one timeline that they could have the most success of victory. So like if he's saying that the
Yeah.
timelines changed, he's saying that it's changing to a different timeline where, you know, this happened and this happened, blah blah blah. It doesn't necessarily mean
Nah.
that he's seeing different timelines at that point in time, like he's seeing the timeline change because I mean go ahead. Go rock out. I'll
So
cut
it
you
would
off.
be like because say like you have the timeline that they're on, like that they're living and breathing on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then within that timeline, like imagine he's just seeing like a big tree with all these different branches,
Mm-hmm.
and these are all of the possibilities. They're infinite that can happen on this current timeline, but one action could completely change all of that and branch out different possibilities. So like the
Branch out
possibility,
different
I don't.
timelines
It's
though,
hard to.
right?
You said what?
It'll branch out different timelines though, right?
It would branch out into different timelines, but the previous timelines would cease to exist.
Okay.
So like even let's take out let's take out the idea of a singularity. Like let's say he sees all of these timelines in a certain situation.
Right.
So whatever decision is made, regardless of his influence or not, the timeline moves forward and it doesn't go back. So
Mm.
whatever choice is made, that that branch that was chosen based off of the decisions becomes the main timeline, and now new timelines branch off of that branch. So every all the other branches cease to exist because they were options, but they weren't the options that the timeline followed. So now they don't exist no more. So every time a decision is made, new branches begin to stem out. All right, it's like kind of like a never-ending continuous cycle. So then, when someone like Singularity, so like Boruto or Ada, add them into the mix, their actions are unaccounted for. So they can branch complete new timelines, and this is why I say there's no way there's not any contradictions in this. But for the Singularity's case, right, for the sake of the topic, their actions can occur basically changing the timeline completely. So like let's say regularly you have timeline A, B, and C, right? And Kasha Koji is able to see A, B, and C, and they're currently on A, and a decision is made that puts them on B.
Right.
But he knows that he knows already in this current timeline all of the decisions that could put them on B or all of the decisions that could put them on C. He's already aware. However, a singularity can come into that equation and put them on timeline B through actions that are unaccounted for. Basically, something that Kasha Koji couldn't foresee, but now they ended up somehow on timeline B. Or because they're a singularity, their actions can somehow, some way, create timeline E. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like adding extra onto it. It's not a fact of like he can't see it. He can, but it's a matter of when it pops up into like, I guess you can say like the branch of timelines, then he's able to witness it. But until then, like something that never happened or can't happen or won't happen based off of the current possibilities won't be seen by Kasha Koji if certain choices aren't made. So he can see all possible futures, but he's not looking at all possible futures simultaneously. Like certain
Mm.
decisions have to be made and certain branches have to be basically sprout out because of decisions. And then Kasha Koji will be able to see, okay, now because of what's currently going down in our real world, these are the possible futures, these are the possible timelines.
Yeah.
Okay. I would. I
It's
would.
kind of like when
I would. Maybe we should get into more chapters because I don't know if a timeline can branch out into different timelines. I don't know how that works. I'm not a scientist, but if he states that in the future, like, all right, so like now that this happened or whatever, he's a singularity. It's another timeline that's branching out because maybe because I'm stuck on the Doctor Strange comparison that I'm just associating it with Kashin Koji's ability. Maybe that's where I'm like just lost at right there. So like I'll take that out of like my train of thought when I think about this singularity and like the different timelines and stuff like that, and maybe it'll make more sense to me.
Now I get what you mean. They didn't give us no set premise on how his ability functions. So like just basically off of everything that Kashin Koji himself described, like he's saying like different timelines will branch off of the original based off of choices. So
that'd be like Dragon Ball Z, kind of like when like the Cell arc, when they like made certain mistakes and stuff like that, where Trunks was trying to guide him into pretty much like not killing Cell before he even came out and stuff
yes, I
like
would
that.
say yes and no because they're able to travel to like Trunks' timeline, and in this case, it's like it's the same people. So it would be like it's not like they don't exist simultaneously. So like once a choice is made, the other ones are erased. As opposed to Dragon Ball Z, like whatever choices Goku made in his timeline versus Goku made in Trunks' timeline, they exist in separate timelines, but they still continue to exist.
Yeah.
But like,
I figure on that.
so
Yeah, I figure on that.
Yeah, but you kind of said like for that particular timeline that we were actually watching, Trunks is acting as a singularity type of thing.
Yeah,
He's trying to change the future.
yeah.
Because I mean, at the same time, like all the stuff happened pretty much the same, but the only difference is like Trunks. Well, you can add Trunks as a singularity, yeah, because Bulma knew the past, so she would know the future if he goes back into the past. So yeah, that would add him as a singularity.
Yeah, I kind of see it where the way I'm kind of looking at it right now is like Kashin Koji sees like an infinite amount of future, and the only people that could actually change what he's looking at, like the picture that he's seeing right now, is the singularities. That's why he's trying to like keep the amount of singularities that he does have like to a minimum, because there's a possibility if he makes one person singularity, that tiny future that he sees that they actually do be the Shinjus, that future can change and they all just die. They all just mean that they're all dead, type of thing.
Yeah.
And even when Black Uchiha was saying decisions have to be made so he could pretty much like limit the future that he's actually looking at. A good example of that is when he told Shikamaru to pick 2 sand ninjas. He didn't necessarily say specifically which sand ninjas to pick. I feel like that in itself, like him picking Araya and Yodo, that limited a lot of the actual futures that he has to look at now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's true.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Yeah, facts. Right.
I had one more topic. Me and Black was discussing this in the group chat. Bar doesn't exist in there. He replies probably like 10 days later.
Nah, chill, rah. I'll reply the same day. I just won't read the chat prior.
Oh, God.
So, dang, what was the topic?
Who was talking today?
Nah, remember we was talking about you mentioned the Byakugo cell, if that jogs your memory.
Oh, damn! I do. Hold on, let me see. I did say something about that.
I think it was like the misconnections in Boruto, like something. Oh fuck! Hold on, let me go on my phone. God damn it!
I did say something about the graphics. I don't know what the hell that conversation was about though.
It was like shit that you wanna see brought back into Boruto.
Oh yeah. Basically, yeah. Yeah. Hold on.
So that was it? You just want to see Byakugo go back in Boruto?
Now I'm trying to see what the question was.
Okay, about to go back into the entire roll. Go back to the chat. I'll talk about the Byakugo seal while you look for it. But to be honest, I feel like the Byakugo seal probably gonna come back in the series via Sarada. I think eventually it's likely gonna come back. I know Boruto loves to do the what is it called, the nostalgia stuff, and
Yeah.
they pay homage to the old stuff. So, and to be honest, I wouldn't even necessarily mind it. I actually do feel like it would have some actual utility. The Byakugo, still my personal opinion, is more like those abilities, the hacks abilities that would be effective no matter which timeline you're actually working. Just like the Kamui, and to be honest, like Sarada has like a form of that right now. So yeah, if you're gonna
I
give her like
found it.
hack stuff to make her actually
Oh
compete with
yeah.
some of the elites of the elites, Byakugo still should 100% be up there.
All right,
Yeah.
but that wasn't it though. All right, so I saw this on Twitter, and I thought this would be a interesting topic. It said so. There are so many unsolved mysteries in Boruto, and that's why Boruto is the best one. What mysterious remain? Well, I'm sorry. What mysteries remain unsolved in Boruto?
That you would want to
Like,
see.
do they have like a list of unsolved mysteries I could probably pick between? Or
Nah,
is
they
it?
was just asking in general. That's why I said I
Oh,
was like I wanted to see that because they had in that chapter the connection of the Byakugo seal to the Sage of Six Paths and the Karma seal, and
oh,
then I said
yeah.
the whole thing with Toneri and the Dragon King Palace. Like basically, what, who, and where is that nigga, the Dragon King, and why is his palace a prison?
Hmm. Nah, yeah, that's an impeccable question as well. See where Timo got Tonetti
Like literally, what's going down?
at.
Me
But
too, though. Like I agree with Black, but that was going to be mine too. I was like looking up connection, like I was just like researching on it and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I think do you guys think that Sarda or some other character should obtain that?
Should say that again?
Do you
yeah,
think Sarda or some other character should obtain the thousand healing cells?
Oh,
well, yeah, I'd say Sarda. Sarda would probably be the best choice in my personal opinion. I wouldn't mind Mitsuki, and I wouldn't mind Boruto. Obviously, let's be honest.
Boruto don't need it. He's a thousand. He gonna be 1,000
I can
years
see
old.
Sarada with it. Dang,
Yeah,
Boruto gonna have to get killed. If not, he just gonna outlive all his loved ones.
chill, bro. Chill,
Let
bro.
me see if I can find a
That's messed
list,
up.
and let me see if you agree with any of these. I'm gonna pull up the tweet.
If I just YOLO one out there, I'd probably say the Byakugan seal, not the Byakugan seal, the Byakugan ability where they can actually read futures. I want to see like specifically what Momoshiki saw, and I want to see if Boruto could actually get that ability as well. Because of course he doesn't have the Byakugan, but he has Momoshiki. So like I don't know.
True. And then what about the two missing Osuski tablets? Never
Oh,
heard
we get into that.
anything ever about that. You said we get
I
into
think we
We
that?
came
get
back.
into that. Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
for sure. That's not even something I'm worried. We gonna get to that in the story for sure.
Why you
I know
think
we get
that?
into that because we getting into we getting close. The more we get, the more we spend exploring Jura's character and personality, the more closer we get to Ten Tails lore. The more closer we get to Ten Tails lore, the more close we are to Otsutsuki. And if we're talking Otsutsuki, you already know we're gonna have to talk Shibai. We're gonna be talking about it's just those. It seems like an easy plot point to just pick up because like I'm not gonna say out of nowhere, but like it would be hard to just bring the Otsutsuki back into the fold out of nowhere. We're already anticipating and expecting Otsutsuki though, but I feel like those two stone tablets is like an excellent plot point, whether it be to explain Shibai's past, the Otsutsuki's history, or maybe the universe's history in general, or even Kaguya and Ishiki's history along with Jura and how all three of them came together, how Jura originally got captured, and sent into the dimension, and they had him bondage under those chakra rods for all these how many years, like so it's somewhere, somehow. But we gotta start with Jura, so I believe it.
yeah, I
Shit, what
wouldn't mind.
about you, bro?
What was the question?
The Osuski tablets.
Oh yeah, I said yeah. We're sure going to see that. We're for sure going to see it. I think, and then this might just be me, but I think we'll probably get to see them in the actual arc. I think those will be like the next Otsutsuki members that we'll actually face. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like the Otuski villains anymore, or I won't say that because I did say that before, and people are like, no, no, no. But there has been some people that I guess the Naruto diehards that I do talk to, they say they don't necessarily like aliens and stuff like that, and they wish
The
that
capper.
we go back to legitimate just regular
Ninja.
ninjas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even though currently I think that they would prefer this arc now. We're just fighting ten tails, but like I wouldn't necessarily mind another Otsutsuki arc, to be honest.
Oh
I
no,
think that
facts.
right there, one of the things that we're kind of seeing is that Kage was like a low level Otsutsuki member. Ishiki Otsutsuki was probably like, I wouldn't even call Ishiki like a low level, but Ishiki is probably like what we should be grow to expect with Otsutsuki members, and we just haven't necessarily seen much Otsutsuki members like on an Ishiki Otsutsuki level. So if we see more of those, I wouldn't mind. And to be honest, they should be stronger if they do
Yeah,
come
I was
later on
about
in
to
the
say
series.
they gotta be top tier. I mean,
Yeah.
The cream of the crop.
yeah, facts, warriors. But I mean, if I would say, I don't think we're gonna get the stone tablets. I really don't. I think they're
Mm.
gonna figure out all about it, bro. Like I think
Nah, I can't.
no, no, no. Just hear me out though. Like I think fans they like see things and then they just like take it out of proportion. All right, you have those cracked
Yeah,
Osusuki tablets that could possibly mean nothing at all,
that
and
probably
we
was
never.
just the background design whole time.
Yeah, like it could have possibly been nothing. I mean, I would love to see it. I mean, like as a fan, I would love to see something with like they go back and they pay homage to that scene, and we actually find out who those cracked Sushi tablets is. But honestly, I really don't think that they're actually going to get into that. I think that's going to be a plot hole that's never going to be addressed ever in the future, unless it ties somewhere with code. If it's not the Shinju and they keep code for a reason, it's probably those Osuskis right there.
You know, I know. You know, I feel like we also have a good incentive to go back at the very least to that setting is because the bug. That's where Bug's tree is at. So at the very least, we're gonna see that setting one
Mm.
more time. So if they
Mm.
decide to show us those tablets or not, and also now that I say that, I want to think. I don't know if y'all can remember this off the dome, but in the chapters where Code and Bug are chilling, and you know Code is making those claw mark armies, his claw mark armies. Do they show those tablets? Like, do they even have any panels where they? I don't want to say like majorly emphasize it, but like, are there any like sneaks of those tablets within those chapters? Because if they are,
What
that's gonna like
chapter?
solidify
Yeah, I
the
need a
chapter
chapter.
where Damon handed Code that major L, and then Code left. He ran to the Ten Tails dimension and he broke Jura's body up and started making the claw arms.
Bar, help me.
Oh, say that again. Where Damon had do that again?
When he
Oh, where
got his
Damon had called
limiters,
L.
yeah, when he got his limiters release.
Damon versus Code. I think it's the chapter after that. I'm saying basically in the chapter
I'll
where
say like
Code
68.
goes, he takes Bug to the dimension and they escape to where Jura's at, his main body, back when he was just the Ten Tails, and he starts to operate and create the claw arms.
Yeah.
Do they have any panels
Oh,
where they show the Otsutsuki stone tablets?
I'm gonna look for you.
I'm not
What
sure.
chapter
I'm trying to see Damon
does
versus Dread. They just talking about the fight. That's why since when
does
they start. I'm sorry, y'all, but like this whole AI on Google thing is so annoying. Like I miss just when the searches would just show me all the links and the AI's
You
descriptions
would
just
just
be terrible.
you would just scroll past the description and the link's still there.
I just don't like looking at the AI overview, bro, because they be like those first couple sentences. Sometimes they just like it's always wrong information. It's like it's not great.
chapter 77. Let me see.
See, AI overview is telling me in Boards of Tubu Vortex chapter 17. So
Did he make it in TBV? No, no, he didn't.
that's absolutely wrong. Yeah,
Yeah, no, he didn't. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
chapter
Ooh,
77.
right quick. That had to be like uber later in the series, though, right?
When Code what?
When Cole was making the claw grind.
I
Nah, it was in
think.
part one. Okay, it is
No,
77
yeah, I
because
mean
Yeah,
like
77.
in the
Oh,
seven.
here we go. Yep, they
Yeah.
show the tablets.
Oh, hold on.
They did?
They actually have
Drop
a
it.
whole page of the tablets for itself.
Drop
They
it.
actually
Drop
have
it.
it.
What chapter we talking about?
Hold on, I'm
Chapter
gonna
7.
screenshot it.
Chapter 75.
My boy Bug is down in the henny, and he's right there.
Post it.
Hold on, let me see if they show any more. Yeah, Code is creating
I'm on
them.
chapter 74. Talking. Yeah, I was right. I was close.
Do they show it in 76? That's also a good question too. All right, I'm gonna post the one I just got. Hold on, let me. Give me a
What page
second.
is it? What page is it?
Damn, bro. I couldn't even. I'm on a illegal website. It don't even tell me that. It don't even
Shit.
give me all that good information.
Damn.
I'm gonna send the page right now though.
I don't even give you the page number. Oh
I don't
no,
think
yeah, I
so.
get it.
Yeah, it just.
I
It just
thought
goes
I
down.
thought you asked for the chapter. I thought I was about to say he only be the chapter. Like,
All right, here I'm gonna send it right now to the chat.
all right,
You see the wrong screenshot. Hold
Oh my goodness.
on.
Leave it to Black, bro.
Of course, Black, get it together, my guy. I sent the same screenshot again. All right, here we go. This is it, and you see my boy Bug down in the henny.
Oh yeah.
We see those tablets right there. They destroyed.
Yeah, a
just
soul
as
shot of the
before.
tablets.
Solo shots. I don't know. For some random background art.
You right.
But I won't knock that idea because I feel like there's, especially within the Boruto community, we give insight to some things that it's like, probably the Arthur, maybe Ikimoto was just drawing something. Maybe he was just filling the page, bro.
Nah. Now
Nah.
that I'm looking at it, the way
Not for this, not for the tablets though. Nah, but a lot of times.
Yeah, I'm changing my mind on this because they like specifically made it a point to put them in like the same, like you see that square around it, like the around the tablets, and it has one on the top and one on the bottom, one on the top and one on the bottom. The circle right there, that shit is destroyed, and so is the one on the bottom.
Yeah.
But why was it destroyed though? That's the
That's
thing.
the same thing. That's the two Otsutsuki that we talking about. The two, we don't know, and we might. And if you actually look at the top circle, if you zoom in a little bit,
because like
you can kind of see the horn.
But like, because Kaguya would have been a traitor, Ishiki would have been a traitor. So why wouldn't their tablets be destroyed? Like, is that something that Ishiki put there, or is it something that like an Otsutsuki put there? I'm thinking Ishiki.
Maybe it's
some
type of history.
It's some type of history. Is that Momoshiki? That's Momoshiki. It's some type of history, right?
And the ones to the left, and the ones to the left is Momoshiki at the top and Kenshiki at the bottom, and then in the middle is Ishiki at top and Kaguya at the bottom.
Yeah, I see the horns.
But at the ones on the destroyed one, the top circle, you can kind of see the horn. And I remember there was a time where people were saying that destroyed top part of the horn kind of looks like Boruto's horn. Hey, I don't know.
I don't see no horn, bro.
The top circle, if you look inside the circle, right outside of the destroyed part, it's like the remnants of what would be the horn. So, like that little edge corner, right there.
On the right hand or left hand?
On the right, in the top circle. It kind of looks like it's part of the destroyed markings, but it's like that's part of the horn in the original drawing.
Nah, I wouldn't agree because if you see all their horns and the other ones, they're in the circle, and that looks like that's above the circle. If that
that's in the. I'm talking about it's in the circle, bro. It's in the circle. If I had a marker to mark it, you know what? Actually, how about this, chat? I'm gonna circle it and then I'm gonna send that screenshot to y'all. I'm gonna circle what I'm talking about. Hey, thank God for technology, right?
Mike, thank you for being top fan. He's been in the chat for a minute. He said they said the higher family that sent them down, so there is more. but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely more.
What
that
what
was
I'm starting to
probably the
see.
first pair that came that they said.
Well, I'm going back. The original spot we seen the Stone Towers was chapter 35, but I'm starting to see. I think they were destroyed because if they weren't, someone could see their identity,
Mhm.
like the
I
visuals,
believe they
the
probably still on
holograms.
Earth. Maybe
It's
Ishiki was looking
possible.
for them.
Nah, I don't think
Yeah,
so,
I'm gonna
bro.
send it to the chat right now, free. I
All right,
circled the part I was talking about. You gotta zoom in on it.
all right, I will.
That that little edge right there. Now I ain't saying I think so, but I've seen discussions about that.
I wouldn't rule it out.
I mean, I ain't gonna rule it out, but don't. I mean,
I,
let me
like
look. Let me
it,
look up Boruto's broken
Or it's
horn.
been a minute, yeah.
Let me look at. Let me look
It
that
kind of
up.
looked like how it would in like a full version. Because I know a lot of people say they don't think Boruto's Otsutsuki form looks that much like Momoshiki's Otsutsuki form.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never too
mm,
heavy on those type of theories and ideas, but it's not something I knocked because I was like, they're not wrong. It don't look like it. So
Yeah.
um,
Let me check real quick. But go ahead, Bar.
my boy, my boy Bug drinking Delion, bro. We got to get him. Question if he not drinking Haiti. That's the Delion meat.
no, yeah, but my thing is, I could kind of see them being on the planet Earth because like one of the questions that I had was like, how come Momoshiki didn't know about Ishiki? It could just be like those little two members are just well above like Momoshiki's, or I guess Ishiki now, Ishiki's pay grade. Like how Ishiki was like above Momoshiki's pay grade. Like Momoshiki didn't know about Ishiki, but Ishiki knew about Momoshiki. Whereas like these other two they could have known about the whole Momoshiki thing. They could have known about the whole Ishiki thing, but they just thought it was like too small work for them to actually even appear.
But he did know Ishiki's name when he first popped out. He was like, I
Yeah,
didn't think y'all would be able to kill Ishiki, but hey, y'all did it.
yeah, but then what's it called? I don't know if Momoshiki knew he was on Earth as Jigen because he never really mentioned him. Whereas like the
Nah, he
Kado
didn't.
organization mentioned Momoshiki.
He did not. He didn't. There was a scene in the anime, and I remember this vividly because it was also one of those things where once they revealed Kaguya's backstory, people were trying to find any type of hint of Ishiki in the previous content. There was the
Mm,
scene in the anime when Momoshiki and Kinshiki first pulled up, and they were in that planet with all those god trees, and he was saying something about Kaguya, and then he says something like, "Was it Kaguya? Was it her?" And then he says, "Or," basically offering an ultimatum, but he didn't complete that sentence. Now, at the
mm,
time, as a consumer of the content, you'd be like, "Oh, he's probably talking." He said, "Was it Kaguya or Ishiki?" But it's like you chalk it up to the whatever you want to believe at that point because Momoshiki didn't finish his sentence. But that's the closest thing, and I've done a lot of digging trying to find proof of Ishiki in the past, but that is the closest thing I can say that hints towards Ishiki's existence is that sentence from Momoshiki.
Yo, look at the I dropped a picture for his horn.
Oh yeah.
So look at it real quick and see if you think that's his horn.
I think it's curved. Oh, well, actually, hold on. It might be curved the same way, but this one looks like it's on the opposite side of what Boruto's horn is on. Because Boruto's horn is on his right head. They kind of curve the same way, like the tip. Pause.
yeah.
Yo, for real. But if you see what I'm saying right there though,
Let me see.
they kind of curve like the same way, going to the right and then cutting off. But it's just that Boruto's horn is on his left side, and this
Mm.
picture kind of depicts as if this horn would be on.
Well, no, not necessarily, because when you draw somebody's face, it's going to be on the right, on the left hand side, because you're looking at it from a different angle.
But all right, so imagine if the horn was completed though, wouldn't it? It wouldn't look like the reverse, basically, of Boruto's positioning.
To be honest, Boruto's look more like Kaguya's horn.
Let me see.
What about
The
Shiba?
Yeah,
way it's
like
depicted.
inverse, yeah, because her horns go like that.
What about Shiba?
It does look
I
like
wouldn't think
Shiba's. I've
Shiba's up.
heard that too. It does look like Shiba's, but Shiba's has more of a like a little curve before it reaches its end. Boruto's is more smooth around the edges.
Mm.
But I could say this for sure. That does not look like Momoshiki's horn. It is not Momoshiki's.
Nah. All right. What about another one here? Let's go to a different one real quick.
Come again?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go
you
to a
cut off.
different one real quick. Oh, you kind of. I'm cutting out. Hold on. Let's go
Yeah.
to a different one real quick. Shit. Fuck. Hold on. I lost it.
And plus, why does Boruto even have one horn when Momoshiki has two? It's like it makes sense for Jigen and Kawaki because Ishiki only has the one horn, but
But this was
you know,
made before Boruto was actually. I would assume. Okay, let me just assume that this was made before Boruto was even Momoshiki's vessel. Cause you can say the
like
car
the
was
horn
hang.
design.
No, like yeah, the horn design. The horn design. It was made before Boruto was actually a vessel for Momoshiki. Like how far back can you really say how far back this goes?
That's
You
true.
breaking like the third wall, saying like the Boruto writers didn't know, or
No, not the Boruto writers didn't know. What I'm saying is like, do you think that it's a
Like they already
possibility
had that
that they already
design.
had that created before Momoshiki became? I mean, before Boruto became Momoshiki's vessel.
That is a possibility because they gave Himawari Boruto's original powers. So I'm not gonna rule it out. But
Yeah, so I
it's
don't really
gonna be
think it would be Momoshiki. Maybe not even Shibai, but like maybe we are. I'm going to assume that maybe we are going to get some like more Osuski.
No, yeah,
yeah, that's
I think for sure. I'm assuming that we're probably gonna get more Otsuki members as well. It just depends on when they come in the series. I think it's probably gonna be after the Kawaki versus Boruto battle, and we finally get to see them actually team up, and then that's when Shibai or the Shibai narrative is probably gonna be going off.
Yeah, facts. All right, so the next one, real quick. Amno's backstory and how he acquired all his knowledge in Shibai cells.
I'm a snake ass nigga. That's how.
Yeah, I think
He's,
I'm out of the Otsuki member, man.
that's crazy. Bar. Say that again.
I think he's an Otsuki member.
Wow. He's finally admitted it, the truth.
It just stems from the Ada Sharingan thing, not the Sharingan, the Ada Omnipotence thing.
Oh yeah, you did make this stance before. That's true. You did make this stance
Yeah.
before.
Wait, what sense?
Amado's and Suzuki. Not a gentleman
Oh,
anymore.
bro, no. I'm not gonna let Barra get that from me. I'm the first person who said that I think he was on Suski. Don't take
No,
that from me, bro.
y'all could for sure be the first people to. But I'm saying like I'm on that track now.
Oh, you on
I'm
that
on that
track
track.
now? I thought I was about to say like, don't take that
No,
from
I
me,
ain't the
bro.
first person. Nah,
Yeah, I was about to say.
I gladly mention that I was the last person to believe my guy Amato wasn't up to no nefarious stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe
definitely
not the
have
first person, but the first person on the podcast to say that.
Nah,
And then,
I think you and Mello said my guy was up to some no good way before I did.
oh yeah, you was always like he a gentleman, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
I want a
I
backstory
rational.
on him though. Like they should dive deeper into Amino. Amino is a very interesting character. Like he,
he's a KK kid killer. That's what he is. This is
I
going to be a whole bunch
mean,
of kids dying in his backstory, bro.
I mean, before he met, maybe we can get something before he met Ishiki, and then like the beginning of when he met Mashiki. Ishiki, or whatever like that,
I,
or Jigen, I should
I just
say.
yeah, I just want to know how he got Shabai's body,
That
and if
too,
he's the person who actually got it. Like I don't even know.
or maybe that can do the stone tablet
Ishiki
thing.
had to have known because he's making all of these cyborgs
Yeah,
with Shibai cells.
exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking that's
That,
Jigen with the knowledge of Ishiki. Cause
Yeah,
how would like if unless Amado me on the track that he is Suski, how would Amado know anything about a being called Shibai unless Suski with that knowledge provided it to him?
that's true. Jigen either Jigen and him had a nice sit down on education about aliens and Otsutsuki, or Amato went behind his back and accumulated all of this information, which is hard to
Yeah,
believe.
that's true.
Or Amato is,
That's not that far fetched. It was
I mean,
something
like
that
to
I'm.
figure out all of this information, like the weaknesses of Otsutsuki, the
Mm-hmm.
lore between Kage and Ishiki coming, like that sounds so crazy for him to just find out on his own, as opposed to like being told or already having knowledge of this information prior. So like him
Or
being Otsutsuki,
or
or what?
he could have just did research. Like I think Shiki he had some.
But where they go?
Uh,
I'm about to say,
maybe
where he
not.
gonna
Go
find this
ahead. Go ahead.
information at?
Like
Where he gonna find the information at?
he was in a laboratory with Shiki.
So it would just be like Ishiki just told him that. It had to. Like
Yeah.
Jigen, we're the same person, but yeah, they had to have just told him.
Yeah, because
Or
he
like
went
they had
in
to
the
have had like some type of reason to go over it. Like maybe over the experiments, like Jigen's telling him, "Oh, this is the history. Like when you're using Shibai cells, make sure you do this, that." So I don't know, but
You know what we need? We need a Jigen backstory. We need a Shiki backstory so we can figure out what the hell his connection with Amino is, what he told him and stuff like that. Maybe a movie or something like that in the future. Just to tie back that plot hole if they don't do it.
good question. Why the hell did Amato not seek out Tsunade or Sakura when his
For
motherfucking daughter was
what?
dying? The two best healers in the world, were known to man. He tried to
Maybe,
take that into
maybe,
his own hands.
maybe it was something else like incurable.
I mean, he said it was
oh, what happened?
incurable,
Because like
but
if you think about it though, like if you put it in that context, Itachi could have did the same thing.
mm,
Wait,
all
so
right.
what was the question? Why didn't who take who where?
Why didn't he take his daughter to Tsunade or Sakura? I say that. All right, that's true. But with Itachi's time, he came up when Sakura, she wasn't like that. She wasn't that nice yet. And then Tsunade, she still had that PTSD from blood. So it's like she probably wouldn't even been popping out there in the field like that for people to be like, "Hey, yo, go holla at Tsunade, go get your stuff checked out." But
And
by the
also
time
he was a
Amada
rogue
had his
ninja
daughter,
too. He was
you said what?
rogue ninja too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and he was a rogue ninja. Right, but by the time Amato had his daughter, like they was already in the age where the five great nations are they cool for the very least. You know what I'm saying? Niggas got their names. Everybody got clout. Everybody knows Sasuke name. Everybody know Naruto name. Everybody knows Sakura name. And like what I'm saying, she's popular. Like it's in the story. Like she's popular with the niggas in this story. Like people really rock with Sakura. They think she's pretty. So it's like I find it hard to believe he didn't know who she was at the very least, or at least like know of her. Like he could have taken her to Tsunade or Sakura and be like, try it out, like at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
True. Another one. All right. So, why isn't Sumire and Sarada affected by omnipotence?
All
mm,
the impeccable questions all the way around.
we should be asking Ikimoto this shit, man.
For real. Well, if you can give your best guess, what would you think the reason why that?
Man, that
They're
bitch
both in
ass
love with Ada's
Otsutsuki,
true.
bro. Oh,
Say it again.
They're both in love with Ada's true love. I'd say.
What?
oh shit. Boruto?
Yep.
Maybe. Oh, okay. I hear what you're saying. Okay, I got confused. I was maybe leaning
I
to
said
the
they both
point
in love
that.
with the Otsutsuki.
Hmm.
That just I ain't gonna I don't like that reasoning though. There's some whack stuff, but
I mean, it could be.
That'll have to be connected to the omnipotence, I believe.
I want it to be.
What the hell? Mike said he answered that in an interview like 2 weeks ago. No way.
Hmm?
Nah, that's fake news. That was fake news. We had all 8 questions. and then some people try to sneak in a couple of fake news, and Ikimoto
Oh, we
answered.
did cover that. We did
Yeah,
cover that. Yeah,
you didn't
nah,
cover that.
fake
My
news,
guy Mike,
fake
I'm sorry.
news.
You got hit by fake news, Mike. I'm sorry. We all been there.
I got
I
scared.
what
I got
about
fucked.
this though? All right, so we know Sumire, she has a connection, not a connection to Kaguya, but of course the thing that Danzo
Anyway,
did to
yeah.
her, it was linked to Kaguya. All right, and Kaguya is an Osusuki, and you wouldn't say that Sasuke is an Osusuki, but he is the reincarnation of what is it, Indra or Ashura, one of those, who is an Osusuki. So that could possibly be the reason why she and her are not affected by it, because they could possibly have some of those Osusuki blood in them. Probably not like to the effect of like a Boruto or anything like that, but it could possibly have some
Hmm.
type of lineage where
Oh,
it doesn't affect them.
I
I can
mean,
see
you
that.
could say, hey, I mean, what's it called? Sarada is the daughter of Sasuke, who had Sage of Six Paths power, and then you could talk about how what is it called? Sumine had the summoning jutsu from Kage Otsutsuki, so some of that chakra wore off on her. I mean, you could. There's ways you can get to it, but I think that'd be almost too much work.
He said
Why?
too much work.
But I can see it.
Why?
I can
Why?
see it. I can see
How?
it.
How would that be
That's
too
too
much
much
work?
explanations. Like a simple one
Not
is just
really.
they both love Boruto, or they all love Boruto. That seems like
I
a
don't like
simple.
I don't
Like,
like simple explanations. Just break it down for me. Like just sit down and be like, oh, this is the reason why it happened. Don't be like, oh, because you both love Boruto.
I think it's deeper than this. I don't like the answer, but I do think it's that they both love Boruto. But it's on a
Uh,
it's more on like past the surface level. Like I shrug it off because even when with all the details and it be like I ain't trying to hear all that shit, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. But I think it's really because they both love Boruto, and it's because I think there's a lot of things that might have to do with it. Possibly because Boruto is an Otsutsuki, and they both love Boruto, who is an Otsutsuki, so that somehow branches into their immunity. I never bought the idea it's because they truly love Boruto that that's the reason why they're immune. Because if that's the case, Shikamaru don't love Tamari. Tamari don't love Shikamaru. Basically every other wife and husband in the world of Naruto don't love their spouse or their family
no,
members. Only
it wouldn't
Sakura and
be.
Sumire, the only ones capable of true love. So,
Nah,
I
it
don't-
wouldn't just be true love. It's true love to the actual person who Ada is going to be with.
either that, I
So,
think it's true love to the fact that Boruto is 100% Otsutsuki, and we know that Ada's abilities don't work on Otsutsuki. So, and I'm only saying this because this whole entire love theme has become very prominent in this recent arc, especially. And we know Ada's ability definitely and her character revolves around the idea of love and the concept of love. So, as some type of byproduct, however Ikimoto wants to explain it, because of Sarada and Sumeru's true feelings for Boruto, and because Boruto is truly Otsutsuki, I believe that might be the way. If not that, I also fell for the belief because I know some people brought this theory up already in the community that unconsciously, subconsciously, somehow behind the scenes, Ada didn't realize it, but somehow she did it. She made Sarada and Sumire unaffected by her ability because she wants true friends. It's one of those two. It has to be.
I mean, yeah,
it
that
could
can be
be.
a possibility. Cause she did
Well,
like mention that.
hmm
Yeah.
I think. I, well,
But can you
I gotta go
consider
back and
them
figure
as
out.
her true friends though? Cause they're like hiding stuff from her and.
Yeah, they're definitely friends. I believe they're definitely true friends. They're hiding things, but nothing has malicious intent.
Mm.
And Ada, like they're not saying it, but like she's asking questions that lets us know she's thinking about it because she's like, why do you guys have your memories? And she's telling it makes me think, are y'all even affected by my ability in the first place? So the thought's been on her mind. No action has occurred because one, they haven't done anything malicious, even with the possibility that they aren't affected. Ada doesn't know, but if she assumes that they are, it's like, well, we've been living in the village together the last 3 years. They still abide by everything I want. They still talk to me about all the things I want to talk about. So, shit, maybe they're just scared. And it's like one of those things like the elephant in the room. We don't gotta address it. We maybe everybody knows, but we don't gotta address it if we don't have to. So it's like, I never really saw a point in it, especially if Sarada and Sumire aren't malicious towards Ada. And I feel like that's where also Ada's stance lies. So she has hints or inclinations that they might be unaffected because weird things are happening, and like they're the only ones unaffected. So like, why wouldn't my love ability also not work on you? But I believe she values the friendship that they have. It's like, sorry, they some real niggas. It's not like they out here playing her. Like they talk to her about stuff. They hold it down. They have real moments. And then Ada even offered using omnipotence on the world again, which is one of the most realist things I even like admired about the character. She's like, y'all can use it on these niggas again. It's just that I don't know if they're gonna fry their brain or not. So I wouldn't recommend it. But hey, I'm right here. Y'all welcome too. So I think they got a good real friendship.
Yeah, I think she already knows they're not affected.
Yeah.
I think like you said, she just values their friendship, and I think like you said as well, they're like scared to tell her maybe what she'll think or whatever. But I don't think they should be scared though. I think they like if she really values friendship, I think that she should they should be honest with her, and then they will know for sure. She will know for sure that, hey, these are actually my real friends. They're not faking it. The lovability, the love charm that affects everybody else, it's not affecting them. That's why she goes after Otsutskis rather than like regular ninjas or humans, because she knows it's not real true love. It's just like her ability affecting them. So yeah.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think Ada is one of the deepest characters in the story, and it's a lot to unpack with her character, especially if you're going to talk about love. But I do believe, and what you mentioned also is a good point where saying about how Sarada and Sumire like. Damn, what did you just say? Because that was a really great point that you just brought up.
What part? Barry, you remember?
Them being true friends, and they should tell her. They should let her know.
They're too scared to tell her and stuff. Yeah, I think it was right after that. You said something that really like. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they're like they should tell her because like she wants true friends. So like she like feels like she can never get that because of her charm ability, and like everything, every relationship is fake. So if they tell her, yo, I'm not affected by your charm ability, then she would know that, yo, they hanging out with me and stuff like that because they're truly my friends. They're hearing me out, having conversation with me, like any like I don't want to say any female because I don't want to generalize. But like like the the common female, they like to do. They like to hang out with their
their emotions,
female friends, and discuss things.
Well, the only thing is like, true, that should be the case, but there is a possibility that they die as soon as they let her know it. So that's like one of the biggest downsides.
Yeah,
but also, but bigger than that, like it's their mission to not let her know though.
That's true. Right. That's true.
Yeah.
But how would Shikamaru ever know though?
He wouldn't. And it's always also into account like if Ada goes full blown evil, and I feel like they've already established to a point where like I think people are taking a liking to Ada. I think people are taking a liking to Ada.
Yeah, I don't think she.
She's definitely not. Because even with Shikamaru's conversation with Ada, it's like compared to 3 years ago in part 1, where everything was. I mean, they're still cautious around her, but you can see how much more included Ada seems to be as regarded as like a Konoha citizen, right? It's like it's normal. Like it's I don't know how to describe it, but like they fit in well and they play their part well. Like if something is needed during the interrogations, even the elders know, hey, Shikamaru, contact Ada. Like everybody knows what Ada does and how Ada is operated in the village. And she has this is why I say it was like a beautiful thing with her character. She has all of these traits to make her this all powerful thing, but she's doing regular stuff. So I don't think it's gonna go to the dramatics of like her having to kill somebody or like being forced to become an enemy in that regard. And I believe even past that, which I wanted to say with your point, free game, that you made sense with was like she's chasing all these Otsutskis, and we know why. Like because they're going to be able to possibly give her true love. But I feel like it would be a good way to end her character arc rather than her possibly going from Kawaki to Boruto side in terms of true love, but having Sarada and Sumire kind of be the ones to help her realize and embrace her true self in terms of like not necessarily romantic love, but this genuine connection from human to human, albeit friendship to friendship with her, Sarada and Sumire, is essentially the thing that she was looking for. Something genuine. Long story short, whether it be romantic or platonic, genuine is the thing that she wanted, and that's the thing she was robbed of because of her ability. So that's also a good point that I wanted to say with your last thing that you mentioned, Free.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, I understand Bara's point. It's their mission not to tell her, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that would like sway her to be more open.
It's gonna. Maybe I believe we might find out. Like Ada might officially have the confirmation that Sarada and Sumire are immune, and we're gonna find out why Sarada and Sumire are immune at the same time. So once they reveal that, oh, Ada's like finds out like I knew you guys were immune, then we're gonna find out why they're immune. We're gonna find those out at the same time, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a fact.
Y'all want to go one more? Or y'all good?
Oh, what's the second one? Depends on what's the second one. And then we could
All
probably
right,
get.
let me see.
You're gonna be like, no, I don't want to answer that. Fuck that.
Yeah, I said if I don't want to answer, it's over.
Y'all niggas crazy. Hold on. Fuck, man.
Did we even hit
always
Negro
do
news?
that?
The Negro news, huh?
Oh yeah, let's dive in.
Oh, by the way, happy belated birthday to my guy Free, and we ain't say it on the pod.
Oh
yet.
yeah, damn. The chat ain't saying happy birthday,
I
bro.
forgot.
I'm gonna have to fry
Always
that chat
forget
up.
their own
Hold on.
birthday and shit. Damn.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, thank y'all. I had a pretty good birthday. I'm probably going. I'm celebrating next week though. I'm thinking of
Okay.
going to Texas, bro. So I'll let
Oh,
you
word?
know. Yeah, I'm thinking of going
It's
to
crazy
Texas.
out here, man. Summertime gets crazy in Texas.
Bro, I live in
Every-
Arizona.
Oh, I'm already knowing. Yeah, y'all heat different too.
Negro start negroing.
Let's
That's
see.
wild.
All right,
Y'all seen the thing?
this one is an
Oh, you
interesting
got-
one right here. Why Momo went silent?
He's plotting. He's
Oh,
plotting.
big time. He's plotting.
Oh,
He's waiting
I
for the
think-
right moment.
Yeah, and this could go back to the ability that I was talking about with Momoshiki. One of Momoshiki's abilities is that he can't really see his own fate, but he can see the fate of I believe, Boruto.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the more he interferes, the more blurry his future is. So I think that could be, like, a big reason as well. Oh, like, for example, when he talked about how in the future Boruto is going to eventually lose everything, I think what Boruto saw was like the flippening, and he believed that Boruto was going to actually give Momoshiki his body, but at that point Momoshiki didn't necessarily know for sure because that connects with his own fate.
Right.
So like the more Momoshiki interferes with Boruto, the less he could actually see of the future.
So you think that he's sitting back and like trying to see the future through Boruto's eyes rather than his own?
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the only way he could actually see the future.
And like maybe like, cause that'd be more too Kashin-Koji-ish though.
No, No, I was gonna say it sounds about right. Well, like he can only see like bits and fragments, and it's not really as clear as like what Kashin Koji would be able to see. So he's only going based off of like the things that he saw for sure, and just banking on like that has to happen. So that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like you said, he gets bits and fragments. So he saw that one part, and he thought he was going to lose it all at that one part. So you think that he only saw the omnipotence happen, and he didn't see Boruto actually like bowing down to him and giving him his body. Like he didn't see him running away and stuff like that. Like you think that like
Yeah.
He probably did
his
see that too. I think he did see that.
uh,
Where he just made Boruto a singularity type shit.
or like okay, maybe he's seen that, but he didn't see like the outcome though. Like Boruto wasn't
Yeah.
gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like
I
the
feel like
outcome, because the outcome includes Momoshiki, Momoshiki wouldn't be able to see that. So I if hypothetically Boruto was to give Momoshiki's body, that's the future that Momoshiki can't see.
I think
So what Momoshiki
I
can
think
see is the
I think Momoshiki just seen that part and he thought, "Oh, this is what's going to happen. Everything is going to fuck up on him, and he's going to like go into emotional distress, and this is going to be my chance." I think he's seen
yeah.
that. I don't think he's seen anything past that.
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
and to me that makes sense because he can't see his own fate. So if hypothetically that was going to be the future, he wouldn't be able to see it.
I agree
So
because
he probably wouldn't even try to do it.
by the time Sasuke pulled up, that's when he started freaking out. He was like, "Well, then shit, this not supposed to happen. Where the hell you come from, Uchiha?" Like,
Hmm.
so he didn't take. I think he did see like Barbara said, he saw certain things for sure, but like he reached a point where he couldn't see past,
Yeah, that's what I
and
was
past
saying.
that would be like, yeah. So like past that would be like the point where Sasuke saved
Yeah,
Boruto and just changed everything. I don't think I believe basically Sarada's Mangekyo awakening, because that's the reason why Sasuke went, shifted everything.
mm,
It changed everything. So the timeline Momoshiki probably saw occurred in a timeline where Sasuke didn't help Boruto and Sarada didn't awaken her Mangekyo.
mm.
Do you think it's possible that someone in the future is going to have the ability to change past timelines, and that's what we're not factoring in?
Mm.
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless the turtle pop out.
I'm thinking that
You
could be
said
a
the turtle.
Sarda's
Oh, I
ability.
was about to laugh. I thought you were joking, but I remember the turtle. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Unless the turtle pop up. That's the only thing.
Why the hell Urashiki ain't leave a karma seal behind? I know
Because
y'all
Who
heard
he's
that
said he
question
did?
fucking
before.
retarded.
Well, no. Who said he didn't?
Yeah, that's
He
true.
probably already
That's
had
true.
karmas.
But who he
What?
touched?
Could be a dude from a different dimension. You never know. It don't gotta be Earth. You don't gotta be
That's
ninjas.
crazy.
I mean, but when he planted Karma still on him, okay, never mind. Never mind. I answered my own
I'm
question in my
about
head.
to say his only options at the time would have been Jiraiya,
No,
Boruto,
he's talking about prior to that.
Sasuke.
Like prior to
Oh,
that,
he already had
Yeah,
somebody in the cut. Damn.
like on a
yeah.
different planet or some shit like that.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a scouter. We can't rule that out.
I feel like Momoshiki would probably be the wild guy that just was running around with no vessels.
Yeah, because he was that arrogant. He was like, "Yeah, I don't need y'all niggas."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I could see that.
Or
I ain't gonna front.
Toneri.
Yeah,
That nigga was blind as a bat.
yeah, true. But to be honest, Tone isn't even like from like that type of Otsuki where he
Yeah.
was like going around and like trying to get like multiple like chocolate fruits and stuff. I don't think he was really on it. He was just on the moon
Nah,
chilling.
I'm talking about he
Yeah,
should have gave Toneri a Carmicil.
Ah, nah, but
oh,
he sent that nigga to the Dragon Palace. Yeah, he messed
yeah,
up.
fact.
Wait, do you think wait, it wouldn't make sense. Can an
Oh,
Otsutsuki plant a Pabassil on another Otsutsuki?
good question.
Shoot. Yeah, good question.
Good question. Cause they
That's actually crazy.
they get fed to the god tree. I mean, yeah, to the god tree, and they resurrect through their karma host.
Karma.
Yeah. So, yep, you're right. Maybe, but he's half though, so I don't know. Those half
Yeah,
breed genes, bro.
it's a it's a type of thing though, because it's like if you think about it, Kawaki lost his karma. He became 80% Otsutsuki, right?
Hmm.
Following that logic, Momoshiki took over Boruto's body. He analyzed Kawaki's body and he said, "Yeah, you're gonna be what's the name? You'll be a suitable vessel.
Yeah.
You're good enough to produce a healthy chakra fruit."
Hmm.
However, that same Kawaki got like Ishiki. Basically, he didn't know it was a shadow clone, but Ishiki tried to put his karma on that Kawaki. So it's like, is that count as an Otsutsuki putting a karma on another Otsutsuki? Because Kawaki is still considered Otsutsuki from that point, and today we consider him Otsutsuki. So it's not like his percentage rose
Are you
anymore. It's
talking
like
about
he's
what
gotten
Amano put on him?
no when Ishiki. So basically, when Ishiki tried to put the karma back on him
Mm-hmm.
and he died,
Oh,
it
yeah, yeah,
was a
yeah,
shadow.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
at that point, Kawaki was already 80% Otsutsuki, like 81% Otsutsuki.
But not
So it's like
100%. That's what I'm talking about. That half-breed shit, bro. I'm
that.
telling you.
That's crazy. I don't
Them
know, bro. I
half-breed
don't
niggas
know,
catching
bro.
strays right now. That's what I'm telling you.
The half breeds. You want to know what's crazy? I was thinking about this the other day. When it comes to half breeds and Naruto, how come Naruto the only one that gets no slack? Like nobody ever says, "Well, Naruto's half Uzumaki," so or
They do
because
say
he's only
that.
half Uzumaki. No, I hear half Uchiha with Sarada, and I hear always the 80% with Kawaki, 81%. People to this day call Kawaki. They be like, "He's not Otsutsuki. He's only 82%." I'm like,
Nah,
"Look at
yeah,
Otsutsuki to
Nah,
me."
he full of
no,
Suzuki.
we used to do that, but Boruto got OP though. He got OP. Once Boruto was something like 3 or 4 shadow clones, was like, nah, chill. He's only like a quarter Uzumaki.
He's like,
Chill.
that's crazy. I'm like, bro, what?
Mm-hmm.
Quarter? Yeah, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah,
Naruto
but
though,
now that
he
he's like
really
Soul and
needs to
Otsutsuki level
fight those
characters, it's like we
allegations.
don't even gotta mention that. Like, what are you doing
You said
here?
what? Nah, yeah, oh nah, that's facts. With Boruto, definitely not. But
Yeah.
Naruto had to never had to fight those allegations though. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, damn, that nigga half
Oh yeah.
Uzumaki.
Oh, you
Yeah,
talking Naruto? I was
it's
I
because
was
Yeah,
his last
unfortunate.
name was Uzumaki, though. I mean, I guess you can
Boruto
say
Uzumaki.
Boruto. Yeah, I
Ain't
mean, but
nobody.
that's Naruto though. But I mean, at the beginning of Naruto, like the reason why they didn't like associate him with his other half is because they ain't want nobody to know that he was the son of the Hokage. So it just
So
stuck.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, true. But also
That's
like
true.
Naruto always had like a lot of chakra, so it was always like,
Yeah,
oh,
he just lived up to the Uzumaki name. Actually, he
mhm.
surpassed it because not every Uzumaki was coming like that. But yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
and he had karma, which was like doubly. You feel me? Like,
They call it. I remember that's crazy. Now that you brought that up, Bara. The niggas was saying Boruto only 25% Uzumaki. They
yeah,
said that
niggas
nigga a
be giving.
quarter Uzumaki, bro. He can't make a big Rasengan.
Red Rasengan was translucent and everything, bro. He was going at him.
That's crazy, bro. That's wild.
Like, well, all right, so I gotta dip out. I gotta do the outro right now. I'm about to lie. I
Oh, you
completely
want to
forgot.
you want to dig in some Negro news for 10 more minutes, and then we can head out.
I ain't about to lie. I was supposed to be out like 50 minutes ago.
Oh
Halftime.
nah, no, you
It's
good, you
halftime
good, you
already.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about to be over.
Oh, you good, you good. All right, go ahead.
All right. Thank you guys for stopping by to the Cloud Ninja podcast. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, we'll be back, I believe, Monday with the spoilers, the full
Yeah.
spoilers. So, of course, tune in for that. Yo, to be honest, I never did like an outro. I don't know. Oh, I could do this. And it's been your boy, I guess, Cloud Ninja. Or and it's been your guys, Cloud Ninja podcast. And we out. All right.
Y'all are
All
funny, bro.
right, peace out, and thank you everybody for joining us. And if you haven't, like, comment, subscribe if you watched to the end. Peace.
Then that's it. We call
I was
like
about to
that.
say, did he cut out or like?
If we get cut out.
Wait, what did I end off on?
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh, my mic,
It's like,
my mic is tripping. My mic is tripping. I don't know. Maybe it's just y'all hearing it. I think they hear it because my mic thing is going up and down. I think it's just Discord.
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, so I think they heard it. Y'all just then. But yeah, y'all have a good one. Peace out.
All right, y'all.
Yes, sir. Y'all be easy.
Facts.